and welcome to Into the Dungeon presents Azkhazir, our monthly D&D 5th edition campaign. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Alright, so there's a little improvisation warm-up. Once again, welcome to Azkhazir, our D&D 5th edition live play stream. You can find this on YouTube and podcast on the first part will be up on Tuesday, the second part will be up on Thursday. Do want to remind everybody that if you want to support our show, we do now have a Patreon set up. You can find the link for that below the Twitch, or if you're watching us on YouTube or podcast, in the show notes in the description below. And as always, tell your friends, tell people that you know that love D&D. Word of mouth is an amazing way to kind of spread our voice and have our show be heard by other wonderful, beautiful people like yourselves. I want to give a special shout out to a few different folks. We have two patrons now, Jamie and Terry. Thank you both so much for supporting our show. We also have 4 Twitch subscribers, which is also just as equally amazing. I don't understand it, and it blows my mind that y'all support us and want to see us do more things. Also want to give a special shout out to Tabletop Audio, who has given us permission to use their sound elements and songs and music and sound effects in our show. So thank you so very much for that. You can find the link to their services. They are totally free. Just in general, they don't normally allow people to use it for like monetized streams and stuff. But you can use their stuff on your website or in your home games. It's www.tabletopaudio.com. So thank you. Thanks everybody for supporting and being a part of our show. What? That being said, what?
I was just
I thought you were trying to get my attention. I was concerned. Whoa! Okay. Who is going to do the recap?
I was gonna do it.
Megan, you were gonna wait.
Under the table.
I don't know if the microphone will pick up on it.
I don't know if the microphone will hear you under the table.
What was that about invisibility?
Right.
Yeah, my ranger got a new spell, guys.
Oh, you're right. Oh, wow. You can end it as a free
I just
action.
space stepped. There you go. So last time we started off in combat with some crocodilators in a incredibly small sewage tunnel. We were somewhat victorious. We had a gray ooze kind of chasing us until finally some reason it decided to give up.
A forbidden pudding.
Yeah, forbidden pudding. Okay. And we were able to follow the map that we had acquired earlier when entering the city, and found this little hideout of children who, after some talking and some surprisingly failing intimidation or persuasion checks happened, it turned out that they were stuck down here in the sewage.
Sandro did a very heartfelt speech.
I connected with them.
Yeah, I still haven't learned how to do that with people. I don't know how you humans do it. But, so we were able to get them out of the sewers by roping them together in a little chain gang type of scenario. Denim carried a few of them out on his back. And once we got out of the sewers, we changed up the children who were riding Denim, so they all got a turn. And that didn't seem to bother Denim at all.
How mad was Hephaestia?
No, I think she thought it was proper. It'll break in Denim a little bit more.
Oh, wow.
Just kidding. But really. So we were able to turn the kids over to the authorities, who happened to be talking to Lizzie's mother at the time. We were able to acquire the silver. Was it like silver per child, or was it actual gold per child?
I think we got gold.
It was 100 gold per person, I think.
I thought it was like 50 gold per head or something.
Yeah.
It was it's in your notes somewhere.
Yeah. So we were able to acquire the bounty, I guess, for returning the
The
children.
bounty. The reward.
We brought them in
These
alive.
two are wanted criminals, alright?
They were wanted.
Weirdest bounty ever. Wanted, alive only.
And then underscore brackets, please.
For the reward, sorry. I'm already in character. I was thinking bounty.
No, it's perfect.
So, after all the children got back home, I decided to take it out of my personal goals to make sure that each of the families were able to afford the next month's rent.
Mhm.
We determined that was two gold pieces? I
I
believe
think for
it
like
was.
food
'Cause I
and
removed,
everything.
it was 12 kids.
Yeah.
I removed 24 from my.
And they were living like an impoverished life, so it was
Yeah.
a lower cost of living
So
situation.
I made sure that they are all fine for the next month. And then we decided to go on a shopping trip the next time. Oh, I had a dream that night.
Oh yeah.
What'd you dream about?
I had a dream of a golden-haired, youthful fawn just enjoying life to the fullest. And
Nice dream.
yeah, it was the most panic-inducing dream she has had. So, well, not the most panic-inducing, but I'm sure it was much less a dream and more of a nightmare scenario for Hephaestus. So she decided to drink heavily that morning.
What happened in the dream that was so traumatizing?
Well, you'll have to find out.
Alright.
You'll have to find
The
out.
audience
by
isn't even
continuing
allowed to know
watch
what
the
was
show.
going on.
Yeah.
You'll have to find out.
Can't
why
spoil it.
Yes.
You have to watch the previous episode to find out.
Player, I thought it was like remembering something. DM, no, this is new. This is a new dream. So that also made me panic a little bit more character-wise. So anyway, so we decided to go shopping. We decided to make sure we had supplies because we were gonna march into Jakir, Salvador. No.
What?
I
What?
thought I was mixing your names for some reason.
Oh, it's funny. I did
Yeah.
the same thing last time because I called you Salazar last time.
Yeah.
So you're a snake, so Salazar,
Yeah.
Salazar.
You were gonna give us
Centaur. That's when we fuse.
information on Jakir, but we ended up. This is when we went to the museum
Yes.
and met a very interesting and exhausting NPC.
Muldoon and
Yeah.
his best friend.
And we realized that
Something like that.
Dargonites, Dinosaur
Yeah, Denos.
Dinosaurs.
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 Yeah.
are
Worth money.
wildly equipped with different types of natural weapons,
Like teeth.
or horns, or just the sheer size of them is much more than our human-sized furs. So, seems like we had quite the task ahead of us, and then we were like, oh, we can just go after some of the little ones, but even those looked like they could be a challenge. So, yeah, then we had our shopping trip, we got some healer's kits, I did a little side quest after everybody went to bed, rest that night. So.
I don't think we actually. Didn't we stop immediately after?
Muldoon.
The Muldoon? I
Yeah.
think that's when we
I
stopped.
thought we were about to
I
leave
think
for Jakir.
we all stopped at the shopping trip was like on the way to Muldoon, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But I don't remember a side quest.
Yeah, I messaged you about it. I had bought another healer's kit. and
Oh, that's
dropped
right.
it off.
You did go do some things.
Mhm.
Yes.
So what time of day would you say?
Well, about how long? Because I was gonna say it was probably close to like 11 o'clock. Y'all were out and about in the morning.
Mhm.
How long how long would you say your side quest was?
If the party didn't have anything else that day, I think I would have tried to take, if I saw that I had time in the day, Were we planning on leaving that day to Jakir?
I think so.
Yeah, you're readying the
Better to
horses.
start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Traveling during the day.
I tell you, if it's like around 11:30, 12, I say I'll meet you at the gates at 2.
Okay. Awesome. So what did you go do on your?
So I bought a healer's kit. I made sure I had a copy of a herb out of my journal, which was the milkweed needed to make healing potions. And I went to Izzy's house, and I gave her the healer's kit. I gave her a demonstration on how to use the tools in the kit. I gave her the paper demonstrating what it is, where it grows, what it can be used for, and instructions on how to make a simple potion. And tell her that if she wants to be independent, it is important for her to know certain life skills, and this is a skill that can not only help herself and her family, but also help others, and even gain her some coin if she becomes proficient in it enough.
Roll an intimidation. Roll a intelligence check for me, please.
And I was like, holy
Master Chef
shit.
health potions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not doing it right.
Yeah. And it's like, it's so bitter.
This health potion's bitter.
Intelligence, oh good. I'm a plus 0. At least it's not negative, right? 16.
Okay, cool. And what else do you do or say anything else with Izzy?
I just tell her that if she goes foraging, don't go alone. If you see anything strange, don't make contact with it. Go back into the city. I say it's a plant that's common here. It is, as long as you know what you're looking for, that you shouldn't have so issues. But make sure you take a friend.
Great. In addition to that intelligence check, make a persuasion check for me.
Here, good. Do we have a bard in this party?
You got a rogue.
I mean,
Can
But
that
where is he?
rogue
Nobody
give me
knows.
bardic inspiration? No.
it's a check, not a saving throw. Would guidance do anything?
Oh, you're not there.
Well, you should have brought me.
What was the roll?
So I don't know at this point what I'm trying to persuade
Oh,
her.
like it is for checks.
But I think it does end up coming off as like a chef type of scenario where I'm just overtly aggressive and maybe like cussing at some points because
I would say-
raw.
I'm just curious how
I got
she
a
takes.
4
Okay.
with a -2.
I'm just because you said you don't know what you're trying to be persuasive about.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how taken she is with some of your cautionary instructions.
Oh.
And I would say if you want, since you're being chefy about it, you
Mhm.
can use your intimidation instead of your
That's
persuasion.
still a -2.
Oh, shame.
Ooh.
Okay. I was just curious. It may never come up.
Listen,
Yeah.
you better not.
Or
you
you
would
may
probably
never
do
go
it
back to
quicker
Belgard and
if
see
you
if it
just
comes up.
carelessly
Yeah,
ran about the forest.
I come across really condescending.
Like, look at you, little shit.
Are you on the chat?
And it's like,
I am now.
Any comments about quietness? Hey, if anybody's watching the chat, or if anybody's watching our show, let us know if the audio was good, because we had some audio issues.
Commented, but that's it.
Was it
wait,
about
wait.
audio?
No, it was about the kids writing denim. She said people were having fun, so of course if SC hated it.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, let us know how the audio is. I feel like Ashley would have said something by now, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
So,
but yeah, it probably comes off really condescending, and it's like you can't. Like instead of saying you shouldn't go out, I say you can't go out on your own. Like you couldn't do this on your own. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, that'll work.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, she
That sounds demeaning.
so she seems taken with your instruction.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's sinking in. You feel like you see a little bit of rebelliousness in her
Oh, of
at
course.
your instruction.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like, her mom is there too, kind of taking notes on the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You actually notice the mom is almost kind of in awe of what's happening, because like these commoners that they are getting
Mhm.
instruction from an Eladrin on
As they should.
herbalism. So like you see a little bit of reverence
Oh.
in their like note taking, and kind of respect of what's happening.
Yeah, I find that humbling. How fast you would be like, yeah, that's about right.
Finally,
I don't know that the word you're looking for is humbling.
No, I find it humbling.
Oh, I
I
see.
personally find it humbling. But Hestia is being like, yeah, okay.
So if it was about 11 o'clock when you departed and you say you're going to meet them about 2, is there gonna
Yeah.
anything that you would do like after doing that and on your way to the gate, or are you going to take the full to 2 o'clock and then head to where the gates are? Because you're not far from the gate in the Hallows.
Yeah, I would probably skirt it as close as I could, even if I had to dash to the gate.
Okay.
I probably want to make sure that my instructions are as thorough as possible.
Got it. So you're taking the full time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, you have a few hours before your designated appointment time with Hephaestia at the gates. What are y'all up to?
Well, one of our party members has gone off on their own to do a side quest in Belgard. We could burn the city down.
Please don't.
I like how
Or
the
try and piss off a bunch of guards.
I like how
Stab a guy.
Stab someone. Catch a house on fire.
I just love how nonchalant you were about that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It definitely caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared for where that statement was going.
Sandro does. Fire.
It's like, are you not related to Tokyo?
No, lunch, I guess. I don't know. You had mentioned like a question if we had tents or whatever.
Oh, she was asking about it. I do indeed have a tent. So.
It's fine. I like sleeping trees. So.
I would imagine Sandro keeps like I remember during our shopping, I kept asking Kyle, I was like, all right, Salvador, what else do we need for the jungle? So it's just more of that. Like, are you sure we've got everything we need?
Did we get antidote stuff?
We have 2 ingredients that Hephaestia will make antitoxin.
Okay, that's okay.
And I would say since our last session, you and I have had a pretty
Yeah.
lengthy conversation about like what Jakir is like.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to retroactively say maybe if you think of anything else based on that, especially since you've got this shopping window.
Yeah.
So if there's anything else you want before y'all depart, now's a good time to do it. But you are right. Y'all did get supplies for potions. You did get supplies for antitoxin. I believe there was some survival like rations type stuff that was picked up. I believe a tent was acquired. Stuff like that. And then who was off wrangling the horses? Because someone went to go get horses.
I did. I had got them.
Okay.
Before
So you want to have them in that window as well?
Does Salvador think that the cart we have will be able to fit in on like the trail that we would inevitably?
The small cart, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's not. You are familiar enough to know that it's not a proper road. There's not going to be any amount of paving.
Yeah.
You know that there's going to be risk of like getting caught on like roots that have grown out. That you know that there'll be areas that are overgrown, and you know that there will be sections where it is very hard to get that cart through because it's not a real road. It is the Jakirian signpost network.
Right.
Okay, is what it is. It's like
you're going through a trail.
Yeah, it's basically a trail.
Yeah.
Where
you're be like, oh, thank God, it opens up a little bit.
Maybe. But I would say anything bigger than this, like if y'all upgraded to like a covered wagon or something, you would have extreme difficulty. Like nothing lower than a DC 15 to avoid breaking the cart. So you're pretty close to that limit.
Let's see, we got stuff for food.
Hecate,
what are you up to?
So I wanted to do something. I wanted to start on something for when I see Denim again, because he helped me so much. I just kind of feel obligated to do something. So I want to take a moment. I know I won't be able to take. We only have a few hours, right?
Yeah.
3 hours. Okay, gotcha. I want to find the person who makes tamales in this area, and go see if I can find out what things I would need, and I want to start learning how to practice.
Oh, you're gonna learn to make tamales.
Yeah.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me. First things first. Let's see if you even find the tamale vendor.
Okay. Okay. I got a 7.
A 7.
No, wait, sorry, 7 plus 2.
Okay. So you do find, after quite a bit of searching around and then finally asking for assistance, someone points you to an older building in Old Town. They tell you that there is a man there by the name of Harold that has been cooking tamales at his small restaurant for generations.
Got it. Okay.
So you were able to find your way to that individual, but it takes you some time. So I would say you probably only have about an hour left.
Gotcha,
Having
to
searched
communicate
around,
with them. Okay.
to communicate with them. But when you come in, he greets you. Hello, welcome to Harold's. What can I get you?
Yes, I was wondering if I could learn about your specialty and learn about making tamales. A dear friend helped me, and I really want to do this as a favor. And they're on the road right now, and I will be soon as well. So next time I meet up, I'd really like to do something for them.
You want me to give you my secrets for making tamale?
I mean, just a general recipe. I don't necessarily need your secret family recipe, but just a recipe would be very helpful. If you could point me in the right direction, I'd really appreciate it.
You'll eat here next time you're in town?
Absolutely.
Roll persuasion.
Okay. What the fuck is that? I'm usually really good. What is this? I got a 6. My charisma is usually much better than this. Why is this happening to me?
So he begins to scribble down a recipe,
Okay.
and as he's about halfway through it, you hear the bell for the door ring as someone else comes in, and he scoops it aside and he starts taking this other person's order. He's like, give me a second, I'll get back to you in a minute.
Okay.
And so he takes this person's order, serves him up a tamale, comes back to your note 30 minutes later and starts scribbling some more information. And you look, this isn't the full recipe, but this is the basics of making a tamale. You need corn husks, you need masa, you need whatever ingredient you're going to throw in there, and you got to cook it for this long. And here you go, come back and see me next time. And if it's any good, when you get back, you make it for me. If I like it, I'll give you my secret recipe.
Oh, all right, perfect deal. And I thank him excitedly.
Okay. So
Is there any chance that I can buy some of the ingredients here at his place?
no, he points you to the market.
Okay, I have to go to the market to buy them. Okay, got it. And then I just go to the market and go get what I need.
Okay, you have about 30 minutes until 2 o'clock.
Okay.
I would say you find the market in about 15 minutes. Or not find, you get there.
Yeah.
And you find a general produce. They do have the items in stock. It's going to cost you, let's go with 5 copper for the basic supplies of making a few of these. I'd say you probably have enough total supplies to maybe make a batch of 5.
Okay.
You have cooking utensils.
That's a good question.
Any thoughts on those supplies?
Is there anything I can do that would potentially be something for better treading?
I don't think I do.
Better treading for the wagon?
Yes.
You tell me. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking either nails or something, to get it across. If we're going through heavy, I don't know. I don't think nails would necessarily be appropriate, but something to where if we're going through mud or something like that, you need more traction more than just flat.
Okay. Roll an intelligence check and then hold on to that number for me until I come back to you.
Chains.
Chain? Oh,
Like
chains. Oh yeah, chains. Chains would probably be. Intelligence check.
I need cooking utensils.
You need cooking utensils. General cost of utensils is what, 25?
I just had a
Jesus.
25.
Yeah.
5 was the healer's kit and herbalism kit.
5 was?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just call it 5 gold. I'm not going to look that up right now. So you do find the general store has some for about 5 gold pieces. You have about 5 minutes till you need to be back at the gates. It's about a 30-minute full run from where you are.
I can do it. I got this. I'm sorry. How much money did you say it was?
Whoa, mess kit is
25.
2 silver pieces, but let me make sure it has everything. 10 bucks,
Wait, a mess kit? I have a mess kit.
No, that's just a cup and some bowls.
Okay, that's not right. I didn't
No,
think
no,
that
that's not
you don't want
good
to use
enough.
that.
I didn't think that was enough.
Cook's utensils 1.
1? So 1 gold piece for cook's
Okay, yeah,
utensils.
1 gold piece.
8 pounds.
What's a
Cast
big
iron,
pot?
Yeah.
We started cooking on cast iron recently. It's amazing.
Yeah, so.
Big camping pot.
All right, so I would say for a normal person on a full run, about a 30-minute run from where you are. For you, about a 20-minute run. So you're going to be about 15 minutes late.
That's fine.
But we're going to come back to you in a second. Okay.
I have a speed of 50.
Still.
I know, I'm just letting you know.
Blair had a good idea. Salvador just thinks we need a dinosaur, because I got a 3. That's clearly the only.
Let's put legs on it.
You know,
I was trying to think of like what would he know from his time in Jakir of like, okay, this is how we generally style our transport for moving through, but maybe we just don't have the right.
Yeah.
He doesn't think we have the right supplies.
Yeah, I would say so. As a Jakirian, it is very uncommon to see carts. You would actually know that really that trail, as small as it is, was only ever recently widened a little bit after the relationship started to form between the Thandels and the Jakirians. And even then, it's still very minute.
Okay.
You would be more accustomed to seeing pack animals on there, or just people on foot.
People on foot, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a pack animal kind of a trail. Anybody else doing anything in this duration to 2 o'clock?
I said what about a sled? But I don't think that's gonna... You said you didn't roll that hard.
Nope, I got a 3.
Alright, so everybody meets up at about 2 o'clock, and you notice that after a quick exchange of being like, hey, we're all here, you notice that Hecate is not with you.
Yeah. It's like I like take like a deep breath of air after like running here to make sure I was like punctual. And then I just like straighten up and like try to breathe normally.
But you're still kind of...
Yeah. But I'm trying to be very like low key about
Are
it.
you running from something? What?
Nope, I'm good. Just wanted to be on time. It's important.
Speaking of, where's Hecate?
Simple meeting at 2 shouldn't be very hard. Perhaps she stabbed another guard.
I was gonna make a joke, but you beat me to it. Let's hope not.
I'm leaving the city.
Do y'all choose to go look for her, or are y'all going to hang out for a bit?
No.
I'll like ask one of there's guards at the gate, right?
Yeah, sure.
I'll just ask one of the guards, it's like, hey.
Yeah, common, sure.
Oh, gotcha. Hey, I know your brother. No, I asked him if there's anything going on in the city. Has anything happened, like an event, or...
Should there be?
No,
No, all is quiet that we've heard.
no, good. That's what I'm hoping for.
Dispatch, everything okay?
It's like they have like a little, or like the stones.
No, they have.
They have the
They have-
copper wire.
They have copper wire, like,
They all do.
oh, I looked up what it's called, but when uniforms have the little cord,
Oh.
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
that they kind of grab onto, and this is you don't see it on every one of the guards. This is like very clearly kind of a captain or a higher rank.
I would only talk to sheriff.
Everything seems quiet for
Okay.
the time being.
Nope, that is exactly what I wanted to happen.
I'm still with the horses.
All right, so your conversation takes maybe 10 minutes or so,
Yeah.
and shortly thereafter, Hecate, are you running or are you
No, I'm running.
walking?
I'm running.
Oh my
Smoke
God.
cloud, people flying.
What?
All right, so
You don't see
you're
the legs,
running
you see
full
the
speed.
I'm running and I have like my dagger in my hand and I'm like, get out of my way, bitches.
All right, but you are running, yes?
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
running.
so it's a bit of a crowded street. Make a acrobatics check for me.
Oh my god, stop
Oh,
jumping
God.
over people. And
Why are
like
you
doing
why are you
somersaults.
doing this to me right now?
I know.
What the hell is that? You dick. 13.
13?
Plus.
Wait, plus 4.
Sandro, it seems like
So
she's frantically running in fear. We should get the hell out of here.
You come running down the street, and you're like kind of dodging people,
Like the
dodging
Assassin's
people.
Creed
You
kinda
see
like-
you see these two dwarves crossing the road
Oh no!
with some barrels, and they're holding them up over their head, and you see them come. You see them coming. You actually drop into like a slide and go underneath them,
Oh,
and the
nice.
dwarves are like, "Oh God!"
Thank God.
But you just keep on running.
Okay, I'll take that. Thank you.
Does it tip just a little bit, like a tiny bit?
No, it's good. But no, you get there a little out of breath because you've been running for a hard You've been running the whole time, but you arrive back with your group.
Okay.
Hecate, are you running from something?
No. Just trying to
Hold on.
get here in time.
A second.
We're
We're gonna
leaving.
roll on like the genuineness of it.
We're leaving.
What do we think of that?
Yeah.
I promise I've not done anything. Damn you. Unlike you, who doesn't do anything.
Wait, that means you did do something?
Let's go.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
unlike
it's
you,
like-
who did
But
nothing,
now you've got like these pots.
implies
and
you did
pans.
something.
Yeah, I know, I realized that. No, I just was.
She did do something, just not something bad.
Yeah.
Alright, so
We-
passing through the gates of Belgard into the Hallows, you make your way through, you see people kind of coming and going about their business. You see Izzy and some kids playing out in the street. You see their mom watching them like a hawk. But you, after a few minutes of travel through the Hallows, you step out into the expanse, looking out onto the southwestern portion of, or excuse me, looking southwest at the north-ish region of the Endel Plains. You see rolling hills stretching from the mountains that are very close to where you are. And then at the edge of these rolling hills, you see farmland going out. There are two roads here. One going due south almost directly. That's the road you came in on. It's the road that'll take you to Crossroads. And then there's another road that veers off to the west, and you can see it kind of curve in towards Jakir. Salvador, you would know this is a much less traveled road. But it is the only designated road that goes to the first Jakirian signpost. That's at kind of the middle portion of Jakir.
Right.
You know that it's about a 5-day travel on horseback from the gates of Belgard, where you are now. No, excuse me, not the gates of Belgard, but from the city of Belgard to that first signpost. You know that it's about a day's ride as the bird flies straight to the jungle. But if you go straight to the jungle, there's no signpost. You'd be at jungle proper.
Right.
And you'd be very far away from that signpost. Just to kind of give you an idea as to how close you are to the jungle. You're actually pretty close to the jungle here. You just literally got to curve around the mountain. But no roads there. Let's see, about 5 days by horse. There is, all of you would notice that there is heavy cloud cover. It is winter time, but you are still it's not winter time, it's late autumn.
You're gonna have to tell me if it goes on.
No, it's late autumn still. It's still late autumn. It's been 8 months real life time, not game time. Game time has only been like 3 weeks. No, it's still late autumn, but because this is still very close to the jungle climate, it's still pretty temperate, about 70, 75 degrees, which you would know that is cold by Jakirian standards for a tropical rainforest. Heavy humidity in the air, probably a relatively high chance of rain, if not immediately, maybe in the coming days. You're very familiar with this rainy season that comes with Jakir. This time of the year is lukewarm, humid, wet. What else did I want you to know?
I'm gonna scotch guard my boots.
Say again?
I need to scotch guard my boots.
Yeah! But
some
that is the gist of it. The travel lies ahead of you. Are you taking the main road to the Crossroads? Are you beelining it straight for the jungle? Or are you taking the road to Jakir?
Would I
or
know
something else
if
altogether?
near where the road connects to Jakir from this side, is there like basically places where we can hire guides and stuff like that? Because that's what Salvador would ultimately has mentioned.
No, it's usually just you enter the jungle.
Okay.
And Salvador, does that path take us close to the volcano where the lizard people?
It is
takes us right past it.
It is
It takes us
relatively
pretty
close
directly.
to the.
Yes, it will take us directly through that route. Okay.
Make a intelligence check.
Everything you just said sounds miserable. Hot, humid, rainy.
Sometimes that's just how home is. Fucking hell! Christ, 2!
There are 9 of them.
God.
Get all these bad rolls out of the way now. You know that there are, just because you are Jakirian, You know that there are tribes that are not part of Jakirian society. They are very much considered outside of Jakirian society, and that they're not connected to like the political structure. Some of them are friendly. Some of them are not so friendly. Potentially they would work as a guide, but you have no recollection of like which one would be appropriate for that. You wouldn't know if you were walking into a death trap or a friendly negotiations.
As we pass closer to the jungles and through, be sure to keep your eye out. There are those tribes out there who are not friendly. Some are friendly, it's hard to say. Those with more Thandelin influence might be more welcoming. Otherwise, we'd best keep our distance.
Does that mean you're leaving?
So stay on the road.
Yeah, stay on the road.
Absolutely.
So as you begin making your way on the road, I just want to stay on the road, so we're going to Jakir then?
Yeah, I mean, if this is a
Yeah, stay on the road.
urgent life or death, someone's about to collapse on the way there. That's a safe route. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's quote unquote safe route.
Quote unquote. I would also say it was, I don't know why it's like right here in my notes. You would just know that well, maybe I did say it's far less traveled, not much of a guard presence.
Right.
It's a side road, for lack of a better word.
So we should have shifts at night, obviously.
It would be a good idea.
If only there were a safer, more comfortable way to travel.
So as you begin making your way southwest along this road, it kind of curves out wide away from Jakir and then swoops back in towards the west. So it's the first part of your travel is going to be mostly farmlands with maybe some jungle in the distance if you're on the crest of one of those rolling hills. But otherwise it's pretty much a peaceful, quiet day. You do hear the occasional like roll of thunder in the distance. Gets to be about 4 o'clock, couple of hours of travel. Things seem to be going smoothly.
Should we be moving at a pace in which we could forage? I know there's rules.
Yeah, if you want to go to slower pace, you could.
You don't necessarily have to go at a slower pace. It has like if you're gonna go this speed, the DC's this. If you're gonna go that speed, the DC's that. So.
Yeah, so what speed would you want to be traveling at, and what DC would that give you?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up. Yeah, it would just be a normal pace. I don't think we're all wanting to run the whole way.
Okay, and what DC does that give you for foraging?
Hold on, I'm sorry.
No, you're golden. You are golden. But anyways, as you're traveling, it's mostly rolling hills. Eventually the rolling hills kind of stop a bit, or they at least become further and further between. And it starts to open up into farmland. You see fields out in the distance. You see parts where the fields have been harvested already for the year, so you don't see any like high corn or anything like that. It's after harvest.
Could I identify what's being grown there? Is it corn?
Make a roll. Make a nature check.
Any fields that haven't been harvested but look like they should have been.
10. I'd say a couple of times the road kind of moves in towards some of these fields and runs along like the fence lines.
Yeah.
And so you're able to get a pretty decent look at them eventually. Corn and you see corn and wheat fields. It's a lot more wheat than corn though.
Can I take a corn?
Acorn.
You're gonna take something?
Make a investigation check because this field has been harvested.
19.
19 total?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't see one immediately again as you're kind of traveling, but eventually you do see you see a corn that has been detached from its stalk and is just kind of on the ground.
We don't have corn in the Feywilds, all right. This is new stuff here, all right. I'm fascinated by this.
We
I
just
don't
see him
see-
jump
I
off
mean,
before he jump off
It was left to the ground. It's just gonna go to waste.
Corn. It's hard to say how long this corn has been there.
Sure.
It's got an odor to it that is unpleasant to everybody that knows what corn smells like.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna grab it anyway.
Fulaine, I wouldn't. It's rotten. I wouldn't.
I'm checking it out.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Look at this vegetation. I've found it was along that fence, just on the ground.
Any luck on those DCs?
Yeah. It says during gameplay, during
Make a perception check for me, Patrick. For
I thought there was some
Around the
DC.
no, for
Maybe it was the other one that Patrick had posted.
9.
9. All the fields look like they've been appropriately harvested. You do see a couple of livestock fields. Looking around, you see one that maybe looks like it has some sheep or goat or something kind of out in the distance, but pretty serene, pretty peaceful. In your perception check,
At 9.
I'm going to say that because you're not threatened, you've got some time to look around as you're moving. You notice in the distance, it looks like the clouds are much lower, and more of a solid degree of, like as you scan the horizon, it's like light gray, light gray, light gray, light gray, dark gray, and it kind of pans as a sheet along your west or along your eastern side.
Rain. Is that storm going to be bad?
Is that a perception or intelligence?
I was thinking it'd be nature. That's what I was asking the druid.
Oh, yeah. I'm afraid it's not a path from which we can steer clear, but to be frank, I'm not really from around here.
It just says DC 15. I think it's the
Oh,
other
but
one
I'll
Patrick.
let me roll anyway. So it's a 2. Oh, it's a 2. Yeah, I have no idea. Frankly,
I would just say you're not hearing much in the way of thunder. What thunder you do hear is very low and rumbling, and you're not seeing any lightning. At best, it looks like a rainstorm. Not sure what direction it's moving. Yes.
What kind of, we don't need to be super arboreal about this, but what kind of trees are we seeing along the paths? Are there the type of trees that were called like travelers' rests in England? They're the ones that have the leaves that are really thick and create like a dry patch inside?
I'm sorry, one more time? Traveler's Rest trees. Yeah, I would say you occasionally see maybe a large oak tree. You definitely don't see any groves or anything like that, but the occasional outcropping of rock, the occasional, thicket of trees.
So some shelter.
Some
if we
shelter,
need to
yes.
dive for it. Okay.
But it's mostly sparse and mostly farmland.
It's just a DC 15.
DC
in
15.
this homebrew that we've been going
Okay,
through.
go ahead and make your nature check or your herbalism check, whatever you want to make for it.
Well, I'm gonna count it, even though I probably should have re-rolled. It was a crit.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
it's barely.
So you go ahead and use the chart to roll for it. Here, roll play amongst yourself. There was a lot of boom upstairs. I just want to make sure my 2-year-old's not, knocked out.
Hey, oh.
Alright, I'm the GM now, and
Oh, good.
Suddenly demons.
diamonds everywhere.
Oh, God.
Suddenly demons.
Okay. Everything's fine. She knocked a book over.
There are demons.
Huh? What?
A lot can happen in 30 seconds.
Clearly.
I'm looking at trees, Farane's eating rotten.
Any
Salvador's like,
I'm
Demons!
observing. I'm not eating it if it smells bad. For all I know, there could be fruit that smells bad around here. I don't know.
any downtime, since we're on a pretty much straight path, Salvador would be trying to train, I guess, with his axe.
Okay.
Well,
Just
strong
doing
card.
some.
Just kind of, I guess, kind of like
Are you
trying
like?
to weigh the balance and things like that. He's not throwing it on the
Well,
card.
it's like you're like sharding the path in front of us, widening it, and
Oh,
doing
yeah.
like a
Go this
lawnmower.
way.
Using it like a machete.
Kyle and I were talking about it earlier. So it's a GM's call if we can count this week traveling to Jakir as both a week where he's training with the axe and he can continue training me in Draconic. Can we do both, or is it he's got
Every time he messes up a word, I swing at him.
I mean, I could say that y'all are both training individually at the same time.
Well, he has to teach
Well,
me.
he needs a mentor.
Oh, I see what you're
Because
saying. I
Tack
see
was
what you're
teaching
saying.
me up to Belgard.
It may take a little longer, but I don't see any problem with that. And perhaps all the instruction you're giving is in Jakirian, and he's correcting you and things like that. Or not Jakirian, Draconic, or whatever it is you're trying to teach him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say we can work out the details, but I'll make a note that you two are both actively training in your things.
Would you consider these grasslands or hills?
Hilly grasslands?
Hilllands.
Either. It's up to you.
Which side of the road do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, which one? That's fine.
Do I need to make any sort of roll?
For training? No.
No, for
You
training.
just have to keep track 1 of 9.
Or you guys would do 9 weeks.
Yeah.
So let's just say this is day 1 of week 1.
Alright, I found one plant.
Awesome.
And it will be.
Even with a crit?
Yeah, because you have to roll how many plants. Like, I was able to find them, so I don't know if I was able to find one.
Rolling for plants.
Yes. 2d6. I'm saying this is hills. Or grassland. Grassland probably makes sense. 4, 6. Common ingredient.
But you find it really well.
You find many of this common
I just
ingredient.
have to roll again. I was like, God dang. 2, 6 again. Well, it's sage root, so I got more for a healing potion.
Well, good. Alright, so as y'all continue traveling, the sound of rain starts to get louder. It becomes more obvious that rain is moving towards you all. And very quickly it's upon you, and it is now raining at kind of a moderate level of
How am I hood
hydration.
up?
You start to notice the road getting a little muddy, but not impossible to travel. It's not even particularly hard rain. I would describe it as kind of a moderate
I
rain.
get my umbrella out.
For rain, our horse is okay to travel while being rained on. Druid.
I'm not sure how the water slides off their hairs. Back where I'm from, we ride on bears.
I say that.
That's a thing, right? There's awakened
It
bears
is
in
now.
our well, we discussed that earlier.
Probably, but I don't
It's
remember.
part of
But-
my homeland. There's awakened bears.
It is not good
Their
for any
companions.
to travel wet this soon. With the cold, you'll be met.
We should find shelter.
It's 20. Do horses get cold easy?
They're beasts of burden.
Okay.
They can handle some rain. It's also not particularly. It is cold rain, but it's not the worst.
So it's not seek shelter immediately.
I would say
Yeah.
it is travelable, but you are going to drop to a slow pace.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna take my my turtle shell.
It would be probably
Shield,
uncomfortable
just
sleeping
hold it
in it
above my-
without some shelter. All right. So a couple of hours pass. It gets to about 5, 6 o'clock. Because of the lack of tree cover, the sun is still up in the sky a bit, and you can see, but it is getting near the horizon. It's getting later in the day. Do y'all plan on pushing through the night, or do y'all think y'all bed down at some point?
Is it still raining?
Oh yeah, it's still raining.
We'll probably. I'd say that we need to make camp. Get everybody dried off. It's no good traveling, soaking wet.
Let's find shelter.
Were you able to make 2 a tree line before?
Make a Hephaestia, since you're asking about it. Make a perception check at disadvantage, please.
Perception. Let's hope I don't have any negatives to that.
My passive, by the way, for your note keeping is 22. I've been taking the.
Sweet. My perception's a +4.
Hey.
The Kentuckian in chat's telling us to just make sure we dry them off before we go to bed.
Oh, nice.
21.
21. Okay. I would say you and Forain notice at about the same time that maybe 500 feet off the side of the road there is a relatively large oak tree that you could maybe take shelter under.
Okay.
Hard to kind of make out exactly what accommodations would be useful there at this distance, but it does look like it's got, limbs that you could get underneath, things like that.
We'll
Okay.
make for it.
Okay.
I want to go look for any human artifacts held around the oak tree's roots. Dryads, they collect. They prefer oak trees, and they collect human trinkets.
Cans and
So you
Yeah,
like
yeah.
arrowheads, old coins.
Make an investigation check for me.
That's going to be a 23.
You do see signs of human activity.
Yeah.
You maybe think that just that kith of some variety have maybe camped here before.
Yeah.
Was it an investigation check? I had you make. Yeah, I think
Oh, sorry, that was wisdom. 18. Well, I don't know. Hold on. Shit. I did just take observant. That gives you a +5 for passive investigation.
It's fine. Your roll was really high.
Okay.
I would say that the only other thing of any kind of significance you notice is the tree has a little heart carved in it.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh.
That
Okay.
would kill the tree.
You gonna heal that?
Does it look like it's already sapped over and hardened?
Yeah, it looks like it's been there for a while.
Alright. Yeah, I'll leave it. A dryad wouldn't let that happen, so that's... I know it's a normal tree.
So the ground here is relatively rooted. Oak trees don't grow deep with their roots. They grow more close towards the surface. So it's not super flat directly under the tree. If you were to maybe come out from under the tree 10, 15 feet, you'd be a bit exposed to the weather, but you do find areas of the ground that are softer and flatter, more capable for supporting like a tent, things like that. What are y'all doing? What do y'all set up? What is going to be your normal tent or your bedding down arrangements? And we'll assume that you'll do this most nights.
I'll say to Forain, do you think that they're fey and perhaps we shouldn't stay?
Not as far as I can see. This doesn't seem to be an enchanted tree.
I will use my primeval awareness anyway.
For detecting Fae and Fae portals?
Yeah, yes. Well, yeah, so primeval, as an action, you expend one range of spell slot, and for 1 minute, you can sense whether aberration, celestial Fae, dragon, elementals, Fae, fiends, or undead are present within 1 mile of you.
Okay.
Or undead, so I'll choose Fae. Up to 6 miles if you're in favorite terrain. My favorite terrain is forest, so this is not. This feature doesn't reveal creature's location or number. It just lets me know if
That's interesting. Do you even need to narrow down the type?
it says or.
It
Not
says
and.
2 cents whether any or undead.
I figure or is exclusive and not inclusive.
Maybe.
If it said and undead.
Oh, and yeah. No.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, you got to choose the one. So you went with Fae and it's within a mile?
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't detect anything.
Okay.
Yeah, all seems clear as far as Fae goes. Well, that's not completely true. You pick up Forain and you look down and you're kind of glowing a little bit.
Gotcha. Yes, but I do have that.
But as for your question earlier, I have a tent, so I'll set up a tent underneath the oak tree.
Okay.
I guess, and I don't know, hang my turtle shell on the outside of it, right in front of where you enter, and make produce flame, light anything on fire that I can on in front of the tents to start drying people off, including the horses if they're nearby.
Time up.
And you're not making a fire naturally. You're using magic. You said you're produce flame. That's a spell, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay.
Cantrip.
So you're able to kind of put together a bit of a campfire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I would
I'm
say.
just holding it out like I am the campfire.
Oh, you are the campfire. Okay. Yeah, you're able to do that. Sure, you can start drying things off as best you can. Water is still kind of coming through the canopy a bit, so it's not kind of it's almost a trivial task. Like you dry things
so
off.
It's not very dry underneath.
No. It's some degree of shelter, but it's still just a tree.
Basically, it's better than what it was walking up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Can we, like...
But the flame does stay lit in your hand.
I say, what if I was to like take? I mean, I don't know how a normal tent is constructed. Like, can you turn a tent into like a open
if it,
thing that
Avatar
has
taught us anything, your tent always has a tarp that you need to put up just in case it rains.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so instead of like having the tents, we could just
Tarp it, yeah.
Tarp
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess is that what we're gonna do? We're gonna tarp the top for water.
Make it into
Okay.
a canopy.
Okay.
Okay.
So cool. You kind of fashion a bit of a lean-to with some tarps and against the tree. You're making yourself a bit of a shelter that way.
Mhm.
Sure. You roll at advantage just to see how your setup on that goes. Roll survival. Advantage because I'm assuming you are doing this as a group.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, am I rolling for everybody
Yep.
now? That's 17.
17? Yeah, you get it up without any kind of an issue. It's
Okay.
you have a bit of a shelter. So kind of recanting what I said before, you're able to kind of dry things off, and as long as they stay under the shelter you've created, you're able to stay mostly dry.
Okay.
What else is everybody doing?
I will do the detect portal though. I'll expend another spell slot, and within a mile of me, you can detect the distance and directions closest planar portal within 1 mile of you, if there's one.
Okay. You don't have to roll. It's just an ability.
Yeah.
Was it? No, you don't get any
I
planar
expend a
portals.
spell slot, so.
No planar portals as well.
Aren't you revised?
Yes.
You shouldn't have to expend anything.
Yeah,
This
I didn't
is
do that.
oh, okay.
Yeah, the revised one says you do
I had
get
it
the 5
pulled up.
miles for your favored enemy, and you don't need to expend this spell slot.
This is the detect portal, so this is the magical portal one. Sorry, no, I did do the favorite enemy though, but I chose the Fae.
Okay.
I did the.
So yeah, but you don't detect any.
There's no
portals.
Fae, no portals.
Yep, just a bit of a rainstorm. All right. Anybody else doing anything as you bed down?
I think while we're all kind of sitting here and it's quiet moment, I'll be helping him with the
Okay.
draconic.
More of your draconic learning.
Foos?
Bro.
And at the beginning of it, because I know we're gonna hunker down, and I have plentiful spell slots at the moment, I'm gonna cast Dark Vision on myself.
Okay.
It'll turn to night eventually.
And I'd say by the time you'll get the shelter built and whatnot, you okay with there? You get some water?
I have some.
Okay. By the time you get everything set up, it's dark at this point. I'd say probably close to 8 o'clock or so. If you're not doing anything else, we'll let time pass. I just need to know if you guys are keeping watch.
Salvador will take the first one.
I can't see at night very well, so.
Yeah. Do we need more than one person up, you think? For watch?
Yeah. I have dark vision. So
Probably have
this
2
is
people
if
keep
need-
watch and then
need
you
be.
wake up.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay. Anybody sleeping outside the comfort of the tent?
Nope.
Okay. Who's on second watch?
I'll be on second watch.
Who's on last watch?
I can do.
4 should be in there somewhere.
I can be up for 4 hours. I only have to rest for 4.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
whomever.
So.
I'll be on first watch with.
I think
With,
Sandra and Salvador first.
Oh, both you are first watch. Oh, well.
Can't see in the dark.
Just why I should first watch.
Okay.
It's dim light.
Okay.
So whoever's on first watch, you can go ahead and roll with advantage since there's 2 of you for a or one of you, or roll separately. Either way, it's fine.
Dang.
What are we adding to that? Sorry.
Perception. 18. Looking out, everything seems fine. As there's a storm, you do see the occasional. Now that it's dark proper, you do see a bit of flash lightning, but you don't see anything forking. It's just normal storm through the night. But your watch finishes, and you trade shifts, and you go on to sleep. Whoever's on next watch, go ahead and give me a roll with advantage if there's 2 of you.
Do you want to take it? Next watch?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you on watch by yourself, or?
Because we're doing 2-hour stints. of
Yeah.
watch.
So it's
I would be the last 2.
last 2. Okay, never mind. So I guess 19.
19?
What was it?
Perception.
Perception. Okay. Okay. 21.
21. The night goes by smoothly. You do think you see a little bit of movement out in the distance, but it looks like it's with that high of a roll, it's pretty obvious to you that it's like a boar of some variety, some sort of, just animal, probably rooting for food of some variety, doing their own bit of foraging. It's probably 100 feet away. It doesn't seem to be paying you guys any mind.
Perfect. Okay.
Just an animal.
Keeping an eye on it just to make sure it doesn't get any closer.
Sure. The rest of your shift goes by, and you actually lose sight of it a few times, but it doesn't seem like it's coming towards you. Every time you saw it, it looked like it was either moving parallel or away.
Okay.
All right, and let's get a roll for the last watch. Y'all change shifts.
I'll take up. If we're doing 2-hour shifts, I'll be there for one of them. Maybe the last one.
Okay.
Assuming
Well, I mean, she's awake now.
yeah. Well, I mean, that doesn't mean she won't get advantage on something.
What's that on 11?
11.
Mm-hmm.
It goes
My
by.
passive perception's higher than that.
How high is your passive?
14.
Yeah, I mean the night goes by smoothly. Nothing threatening. You maybe a couple of times see that same boar that was seen earlier, but same story. It stays at a distance and just looks like it's doing its own thing.
I'm gonna shoot
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yep. Yeah, it's bacon. Oh.
It is not big.
It's not.
No, it's an 8.
Oh, goes wide. wide. Sorry.
That's alright.
And you hear a
Yeah.
cat meow in the distance. No, I'm just kidding.
I had another squirrel and explode.
Oh. All right. And then I guess there was one more watch, so go ahead and make the roll.
Are you gonna be in this one?
I'll be up for that one. My passive is pretty nice.
7, 6. It's still
I mean,
the same, but our passive.
With your
are higher.
passives, the night goes by smoothly. The storm finally starts to let up. By the time this part of your watch is over, the rain has moved on, and the clouds are still. It is still overcast everywhere. There's not really any area where sky is peering through, but the darker portion of it that was a storm has moved on off towards the west, towards Jakir. It's wet. It's soggy, but storm is gone, and for all intents and purposes, the sun has started to rise, even though you can't see it. So it is starting to brighten up ever so slightly.
Probably pretty sunrise.
Yep. Probably. For somebody.
Who's making the coffee?
I wasn't very comfortable.
It was adequate.
I just slept on a rock. How are the horses? Are we ready to take off?
Yeah, I guess we can make sure they're.
I'm not an elf. I slog around just like everyone else in the morning, right? So I'm still sort of sluggishly getting my things ready, trying to put the tent back up.
Go over to the bags and start pulling out. It's rations this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have any fresh foods, or are we just doing rations?
I think all
Well,
we have
I
is
tried.
rations.
Oh yeah, you did try. That's right. You went for more.
Yeah, just coffee or tea. I'll make tea. And then he said, "Who's making the coffee?" And it's like, I make myself tea.
You say, who's making the coffee? And Sandra's like, we didn't buy any.
Very disappointed.
Shit.
We're only a day out.
Turn around.
I guess we're screwed.
Festy, do you have any more of that tea?
Yeah.
Enough to share?
We all get a sip. One sip. Singular.
Make it count.
Yeah, I'm sure I can share it with everybody. Just some mint tea.
So I'll take maybe an hour or so waking up and role playing amongst yourselves while your storyteller gets some water, and I'll be right back.
Eating rations, drinking tea, and the demons.
And then the demons.
Yeah, I was trying to find the background to see what are. It's not it's the hermit background. It's not the other one that gives you like the bonus to finding food and stuff like that.
Alright. So you said you were foraging for food, was it?
Yeah, I was just seeing what the hermit gave you. It's not one of those types. It would have been Outlander, I believe, that wouldn't have given you the...
Outlander does give you... No, Hermit's special ability is that you get like a secret that you discover in your hermitage.
Where Outlander gives you the...
Yeah, Outlander gives you the footage. Alright, well you get your camp kind of packed up and you make your way back to the road and continue heading southwest, unless there's something else I've missed.
Mm-mm. No.
So travel here stays pretty much the same as it did yesterday. A few hours go by of, once again, less rolling hills, more flatlands. The road is not difficult terrain, but it is muddied and a little bit more obscured, but not obscured in a way that you'd like get lost. I mean, it's just less comfortable in general, your travel.
Kind of icky.
Kind of icky. Not super pleasant. As you're moving, as you're kind of moving down the road, you do crest a bit of a hill, and at the top of this hill, you notice that it kind of goes down into a hollow between two hills, and in this hollow, water has collected and not really drained off very effectively. It's probably about 6 inches of mud crossing this section way off the road as well, probably 30 feet in both directions, where this hill has just kind of collected. It's pretty obvious that this area is super wet because the water's collected there, and the mud, it looks as if it's almost as if it's almost as if horses have gotten stuck in it as they've gone through it and have had to be pulled out. Like it looks like there's just been a little bit of a struggle, and it's sort of churned and tilled up the dirt a little bit or the mud a little bit in this water in this section. But you don't see any horses or anything like that. It's just kind of gross looking.
Gotcha. Do we try to avoid it?
Sandro's not a traveler, so
How
I didn't
wide-
notice y'all stopped.
How wide is the cart?
And just for the record, the only reason that y'all wouldn't have noticed this. It's really Farain who's noticed
okay.
the getting stuck portion.
Oh,
Here.
Gotcha.
okay.
Yeah, that's definitely a passive perception boon. That the mud here is definitely loose, definitely kind of tilled as if something has been stuck in it.
Churning up in it.
Yeah.
Okay. How? You said it was about 30 feet. Like.
The whole section in this hollow is probably about 30 feet across, like to continue to the other side of the road.
Yes.
And probably 50, 60 feet wide. It's
Okay.
way wider than the road itself is. It extends off into the fields. It's not impossible to go around. You just have to. It's just a kind of a wide berth.
Gotcha. How wide is our cart?
It fits in a 5-foot square.
It's very convenient. How long is our cart?
Splash.
10-foot square.
That's entirely too convenient now that you've laid that out. I take some of the ground next to me and I start rubbing it together, and I'll throw it on top of the mud and cast Mold Earth.
Okay.
And it will. I'll use the effective Mold Earth that says if the dirt or stone target on the ground, you can cause it to become difficult terrain. Alternatively, you can cause the ground to become normal terrain if it is already difficult terrain. This change lasts for 1 hour, and I can only have 2 of them at a time. So 10 feet long and 5 feet wide.
Sure.
And I'll just alter the mud. I'll make it very stable.
Sure.
And I'll order the carriage across, but only whenever I'm slowly like massaging the earth into place.
Okay, so I guess just walk me through it. So you're massaging the mud. So you like trudge out into the water and
Well, I don't actually need to be in melee distance. I'm flavoring it as you know, I'm sort of like treating the ground, like I'm sort of like petting it into being stable. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's very weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, but you're not cross. So you're using like speak with animals to send the cart across. Like what's happening?
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell them I'll tell the horses when to stop and go.
Okay. So you start to send the horses across. Everybody else is going too. I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, either
Sandra
someone can
didn't
get
even
on the horse
notice.
at the same time, or they can. Oh wait, what? What'd you do?
He didn't notice. We haven't.
No one said anything.
Yeah, no
Okay.
one said anything.
Oh,
You're
okay.
the only one who noticed. You
Oh my
I'm on a
God.
horse. We're all on horses. We have
Okay.
5 horses.
Wait, you're on the horse, but you went ahead in front of me?
Yeah.
Oh, I assume I would have noticed that. Maybe too late. I don't know, because I'm already
You started
formulating.
casting.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
spell.
What I started to do. Yeah. All right.
All right. Roll.
It's very wet down here.
So you start to notice that your horse is like stuck. You feel it try to lurch forward, and like its hoof is in. You look down and it's in the mud now. It isn't struggling too hard. It's a horse. It's strong, so it's able to finally kind of pull its hoof out and kind of keep going. Farain,
Yeah.
what's your passive perception?
It's 22.
You feel a tremor in the ground. I need everybody to roll initiative.
Oh no! Nice.
Jesus Christ, these rolls. It's very wet down
Ah,
here.
sweet.
1, 2, 3.
How far did the horses get out with Mulder?
How far did the horses get out in Mulder? I would say that in the 30-foot span, by the time the horses probably only got 5-10 feet or so.
Yeah.
Sandro was probably at about the 15-foot mark.
Oh, and I ignored difficult terrain. How about that?
How about that?
How about?
But your horse doesn't.
That's true. I would be chastising the horse.
Alrighty. I need who thinks they rolled the highest on initiative? What you got?
22.
22. Who thinks they rolled next highest?
21.
Nice!
Close.
Sandro with 21. Who thinks they rolled next highest?
16.
17.
17 from Hecate.
Cal's like, nope.
I'll be there eventually.
You being probably better than some travel.
16? 16 from
Difficult travel,
Forain.
not so your roots travel.
Who thinks they rolled next highest?
That's the
There's
last
only
one.
one
Who-
person.
Oh, there's only you as an 8?
Yeah.
What's your dexterity?
11.
11.
Is it if your dexterity is higher than your initiative? Do you use it? No? Alright, cool.
Something else
That's
happened.
Good.
I kind of realized that. I was like, oh.
Aww.
Oops. Salvador is your name. I had to look at you. I had to look at your face, Kyle, to know you are a Salvador.
Maybe.
We need to get you a cobra.
Yeah.
Alright. As you are crossing this terrain, you feel, Forain notices it first, you feel a tremor in the ground as you're kind of molding it. Very shortly thereafter, everyone feels this tremor, and the ground beneath you erupts. 2 large claws stab into the chest of your horse and rip it to the ground. You see chunks of horse come apart
Oh my
as it's pulled towards the ground. It missed you by a horse.
Oh.
Yep.
It is pulled down, and you see this mandible, this bug head, start just chomping into this horse. It looks up and it looks around and it sees you all. Hephaestia, it is your turn. You are surprised. You do not have an action. You do not have a reaction. All you have is a bonus action. You have no movement.
Bonus action, Hunter's Mark.
Okay?
I don't have a reaction, I don't have an action.
Correct,
But I have
correct.
a bonus and I have my movement.
You do not have movement.
Oh, I don't have movement. Okay, so can I, like, keep my horse from walking forward?
As a bonus action,
Well, I was gonna Hunter's Mark as a bonus action.
I'm going to say your horse is equally surprised, so it's not going to have its movement either.
Okay. Yeah, so bonus action, I'm gonna Hunter's Mark.
Okay. Alright. Sandro. Surprise. No action. You only have a bonus action.
Bonus
No
action,
reaction.
hide
Okay.
while it's eating the horse.
Okay, so you're just gonna like scrunch up on top of the horse and just.
And try to like balance on its back as it's being eaten. It's like,
Okay, I'm gonna need you to roll at a disadvantage.
Alright.
Because the horse is no longer standing. The horse is, to not be graphic, whole. Horse bigger than whole. Horse pulled down. Horse with big chunk out of it. Horse is not a great thing to hide behind, but you can certainly try. It's a relatively high DC. Not impossible high.
10?
10. You feel like you've scrunched up on the back of this thing.
Guys!
This thing that used to be a horse.
Oh my god.
Hecate, you are also surprised. So you have no movement, you have no action, you only have a bonus action, you do not have a reaction this turn.
Okay,
Or this round.
I guess I need to figure out where I am. So,
That's a great question.
yeah.
Let's draw the map.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
Alright, let's say we'll be way over here. Let's call this the road that y'all are going down. And we will say that this purple designates the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, the section of muddied road, and it goes off that direction, probably about 30 feet both ways.
Okay.
Everybody put your stuff on the field. I will tell you, okay, that's where, so Sandra, we're going to move you forward just a little bit further. We said you were about 15 feet. We said the horse was about 5 feet, so.
This is gonna be the horse?
And this is, we'll say that you guys are like right here.
Wait, oh, we're on that side. Jesus. Wait, no, I'd be.
You're in the mud?
Well, I would be right next to the mud because I was massaging the water or whatever.
Okay.
So would you be actually in the water in front of me?
I'm
Because
gonna
you
reach
said-
down. I'm a big boy. I just reach down there,
Okay.
touch the ground.
You touch that ground. Give that ground a good touch.
Yeah. And you said the horses were like 5 feet out.
Yeah, horses are about 5 feet out. Anybody?
We're all on our horses, aren't we?
I'm not. I got down.
I was gonna say you got down to do your spellcrafting, but everybody else I understand is on a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and not Sandra. Well, Sandra's on a horse.
Yeah, I'm on a horse.
I just may not be alive or moving.
Need a necromancer.
Formerly known as horse.
I don't really know what to do. I just move out of the way, I guess.
But you don't have any movement.
Oh yeah, that's right. So
You
I
have a
just,
bonus action.
I guess I just.
Well, now you can use a bonus action. Don't you have bonus action dash?
I do. I could
So
do
you could
like
move if
dash
you
or
did that.
disengage. So.
Oh, I didn't know I could do that.
I would allow it if you would rather do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Dash off his back.
Okay.
And I'm assuming this is difficult terrain, so I can only make it behind Salvador.
Yes, but as you move,
Oh.
all right, as you move, it's going to use a reaction to do acid glob. When a creature within 20 feet of the Ankeg uses their movement to move away, the Ankeg discharges a thick glob of acid at them. This attack has a +6 to hit. Ooh, stay on the
We're
table.
only a day away.
11
To hit?
to hit.
No.
Okay, great. You are fine.
I
You see you go to move away and you duck, and this glob goes right over your head as you duck away.
What the hell is that?
Kakate, you were going to do the same thing, but
Yeah.
okay, but
I
you
mean-
are not at risk.
Yeah, because I'm not near it. Otherwise, I would attack it.
Okay,
So yeah, I guess that's all that I can do.
okay. So you're going to move. Where did you move to?
I guess a few feet back, like to
Which one's you?
that
this
one.
one?
Yeah.
So you move like over this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say. Okay, perfect.
All right. So that's it for your bonus action. Forain, you are up. You are not surprised.
I'm not surprised. Oh, because of the rumbling?
You were able
Okay.
to sense something amiss.
Oh, okay. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, I have no...
So you have your full turn.
I have my full turn. Okay, so I can maybe do something. This isn't optimal, but I'm already touching the ground, so I'm gonna grab... Can I cast Magic Stone on dirt for this? Are there any stones nearby for me to...
Sure. Yeah, I would say you're on a road. Pretty easy to find some stone. I'm not going to
Alright.
make you roll for it.
Alright. So while my hands are like in the mud, I just see...
You know what? I'll say this. You see stones around you. You're looking for one to use as a weapon.
Well, I have a bunch of stones in my bag anyways, but I just want to grab something on the riverbank.
If you're looking for one that would be useful as a weapon, I would say you see a larger one about the size of your normal stones, maybe 10 feet away. It's not going to cost you anything but your movement to get to it.
Okay, I'll move to it. I'll tell the horses to back the hell on up.
Okay?
To back the hell on up.
Okay.
Alright? And I'll grab
You
that big
don't
rope.
see any sort of recognition of what you're telling them in the horse's expression.
Okay.
Yeah, you can talk to them, but you can't understand them, right? You
Yes.
just have animal telepathy in reading body language.
Well, it says they can understand.
Yeah, but they can't respond, right?
Yes, they can respond.
So looking at their body language,
Yes.
you're not so sure they either haven't heard you or they haven't cared about what you've said,
Or they're in shock from seeing.
or they're in shock.
Steve!
You know what? That's probably.
You know your ability has worked. Whether or not
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have processed it is on them.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm gonna make a ranged spell attack using Magic Stone. So it's gonna be 1d6 plus 5. Using. It's gonna be 14 plus. Man, a lot. 5, 6, 7
To do what now?
to hit him. So 21 to hit.
21 does hit.
Okay. And then.
It's just barely. No, okay.
Oh my god.
Not just barely.
Oh my god, I rolled a 1. Okay,
Oh,
so
shit.
for 6 damage on.
6 damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, so they didn't. Man, all right. It's a shame they didn't understand me. All right.
Again, not sure if they didn't understand you.
Or they're
Your ability definitely worked.
Okay. I want to back up somewhat. I don't want to leave the horses. Actually, yeah. I'll get behind the horses so I can try to pull them next turn.
Okay. All right. I mean, did you use your bonus action?
Yeah. To I think Magic Stone's
Okay.
bonus action. Yes.
Okay. Next, it's going to be the Ankeg's turn. It is going to. Let me see here. What is it going to do? It is going to.
Finish its meal.
Say again?
Finish its meal.
So having seen the attack come at it from the giant, it's gonna look up at you and it's gonna hiss and it's gonna skitter towards you
Oh my god.
rapidly.
I don't like that.
Right here
Jesus
into your range.
Christ.
I like the
Okay.
skitter.
It's going to attack you with one of its claws.
I don't like it.
For those watching, we failed to have an extra camera, so no dice cam today, I promise. I'm not flubbing any rolls, because I would never do that to my players.
Kyle's watching.
We'll roll out in public so everyone can see. That's an 18 to hit plus
Yeah.
6. I'm
Yeah.
assuming that hits.
Yeah, an 18.
Oh, excuse me, plus 8 to hit.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
That's gonna hit. Okay.
That's pretty intense.
Pretty.
Don't worry, guys. Denim and Tack will make new friends in Crossroads.
That's a 5 plus
Man, ow.
plus 5 plus 2. So 7.
Okay.
All right, you're gonna see its other claw come down at you.
Oh, ouch. Okay.
That's another 18. That's gonna hit.
Lord. Okay. Yeah.
Another claw attack. 8 plus 2, so 10 damage.
Oh my god. Okay.
Since you got hit by 2 claw attacks, that's gonna knock you prone.
Shit. Okay.
You are a large creature, right? No, you're large for the sake of carrying, so
Yeah.
you are a medium creature.
Yeah.
Because you got knocked prone, it's going to use its bonus action, ground and pound. It's going to make an additional claw attack at you with its claw.
Okay.
17 plus 8, I assume.
Yeah.
Hits.
Yeah, it's gonna hit.
4 plus 2, so 6.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you don't need Constitution, man. You're a druid.
Holy shit. That was 2/3 of my health.
Ooh. That's going to take us to Salvador. You are frightened. Or not frightened. You're surprised. So no action, no reaction, no movement, just your bonus action.
You said this was 30 feet long or 10?
Yeah, 30 feet a lot, 30 feet wide.
Okay, so it's active. Okay.
Mold Earth was a cantrip.
Yep.
You were just going to kind of keep casting it as the cart moved.
Mhm.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Should have said something.
I just did not hear that you were running across it, so
I just kept going.
I thought
didn't
I
stop
thought
when
the
else
horse
We also
carriage
didn't
was
say
gonna
who was in
first
front or anything like that. We never said a move order.
I actually thought about that, and I was like, I don't want to give away by asking if there's a marching order, so we're
Right.
just going to see what happens.
Yeah. So, and that's something we didn't talk about.
Sandra's not a traveler.
You as players will learn to call your marching orders. All right, Salvador, what are you doing? You just have a bonus action.
I mean, he can't really do anything.
He's on the shore. You could attack him if you wanted to. Oh wait, no, you're surprised.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, no, I can't.
Oh, you actually can't do
You
anything.
got no
actually-
buff or anything.
Can't do anything. I think, what is it? You can disengage or hide. I think that's the only other things that are available.
No, it's a bonus action.
Yeah,
Only
you-
rogue or monk.
Yep.
Then no, I literally can't.
Okay, so that's it. That's going to take
I
us
mean, I
to...
can do poison spray, but I'm pretty sure it's immune if it just.
Is that even a bonus action? I don't think that's a bonus action.
It's probably a spell, but cantrip.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to take us to the top of the round. The horses are now going to react at the top of it. They are all acting, those that are alive, are acting as if they are under the fear effect.
Gotcha.
They are frightened. Frightened creature has disadvantage on ability checks and ability rolls while the source of its fear is within line of sight. The creature can't willingly move towards it. All the horses are going to move the opposite direction at max speed.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I meant. Dismount.
You're-
That was a thought.
That would have cost you your movement. That you couldn't have done it anyway.
So, you and Hephaestus are still mounted?
yeah.
All right. Hecate, are you mounted? No, you
No,
got
she
off. Yep.
jumped off for the bonus action.
Cool. So just the two. So all the horses are now 60 feet away, or moving 60 feet away. Because I'm assuming they're going to use their. Well, they're not going to get a dash. They're 30 feet away. So
Are we gonna?
no.
How do you want to move them?
I'm not worried about putting a token on the field for the horses, but whoever's on a horse needs to move their token 30 feet away.
Okay.
We are top of the round, so if you have your reactions are back. And just if it goes off the board, just guesstimate.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to pull this back a little further. And then when it comes time to move, it's just pretend those are good. Okay. So that's it for the horsies. Hephaestia, you are up.
All right. So I am going to use my 30 feet of movement to get back up to where the party is.
Okay.
Is dismounting a bonus action?
No, it's part
Half your movement to dismount.
Yep.
Okay, I will use 15 feet of my movement to at least, I guess, get myself kind of back on the board.
Sure, I'll put you right there at the edge.
And I will shoot at it with my vicious bow.
Okay.
I really wanted advantage, but it's fine.
It's fine, I guess.
Those stupid horses. Control yourself.
Don't worry, I'm in the front line.
Well, I was gonna Misty Step to the other side of the mud, so it had a second target that was away from the party, but I'm gonna have to wait till next turn. So I'm going to try and hit it real good. My vicious bow, which is an 11.
Total? Yeah, it's gonna miss. So it hits. You see it hit, but the hardened shell of this insect's carapace, it's just the arrow's not able to penetrate it. It's just slightly off the wrong angle, and it deflects off.
Okay. And then, let's see. I don't think I have anything else I want to use for my bonus action. I already have Hunter's Mark on it.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't Fae?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. So
I'll give you that. Probably shouldn't have, but no, it's not.
it is my favorite enemy.
Yes, you would know, so that's fair.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
It'll be in my turn.
Sandro, you are up. Hecate on deck.
Okay. Another enemy that targets within 5. Okay, so Ferain still counts. I'll make an.
Not if Ferain is prone, it doesn't count.
Doesn't say anything about it.
That's okay.
Oh, does prone count as incapacitated?
No, it doesn't. Those are two separate things.
It does say incapacitated. So he's not incapacitated. Sneak attack would count if this attack would even hit.
Ooh, it's double digits? I can't tell what the second digit is though.
I can't tell
It's a
either.
10.
It's a 10.
Plus
10 plus 6, 16 to hit.
16 just barely hits. As you stab it,
Face.
you see its eyes turn towards you.
Yeah.
You don't feel like it has been snuck up on. Ankeg has situational awareness. The Ankeg cannot be flanked and does not provide sneak attack from being engaged with an enemy. So you can hide and get your sneak attack. Speaking of which, you hid last turn, did you not? No, you disengaged and dashed away. Never mind.
Yeah.
Your hide was successful. That would have given you sneak attack. Just so that you know I'm not being a bully.
I get it.
It's
I understand
still on
exactly
flank
what
also
the
for
nature
advantage
is.
because I get a bunch of bonuses for advantage.
Sorry.
Alright,
I
so
will play as if I don't
It's
know
fine.
that
It's
information.
fine. Everything's fine.
that's going to be 9 points of piercing damage as I hit it with the rapier.
9
Nice.
points.
That's pretty good.
And then bonus action disengage.
Okay, real fast before you do that. It's going to use a reaction. Acid blood. The first time the Ankeg is hit with either a piercing or a slashing damage, the Ankeg can spray acid from the wound. Anybody within 5 feet will take acid damage.
Oh, I hate this.
I was within 5 feet.
That's 3 plus 3, so 6
Okay.
acid damage. You said 9 damage?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm not going to change my plan here. Unless you can get your hands on the health potion.
Yeah, I'm pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that's my
I
turn.
can do nothing about it.
Do you have the health potion? The 40?
I don't have one written on my sheet. If I had one, I think I gave it to someone. Probably didn't after the.
Well, I know I made one, but I wasn't sure if I handed it off or I still kept it. Okay, I still have it.
Okay.
Who's it?
Me. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna run up to it and do Fury of Blows.
Okay, so you run all the way up to it. Easy enough for you to do. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do your basic attack.
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead and roll for, are you punching or are you stabbing? What are you doing?
Punching.
Okay.
I'm afraid to stab it after we got,
Smart.
I saw it
Sprayed
sprayed.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did get his reaction.
So, I got
Did use its reaction.
8
It's an opportunity.
So the acid spray is a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm having a brain fart.
Unarmed, so plus 6 to hit.
Okay.
14.
Yeah, 14.
Mm-hmm.
14 to hit.
14 to hit. Okay. That is unfortunately going to miss.
Okay, good.
Alright.
And now, if you want to use your bonus action, you can either do a single attack or you can spend a key point to do your Fury of Blows.
I want to do my Fury of Blows.
So 2 attacks.
So for
What are they?
No.
both of them are a 4
Oh,
plus 6.
That's not going to hit. I'm so sorry. So just like you saw with the arrow in your last punch, you're hitting, but it's like punching hard skin.
Okay,
It
I'm
is
just not.
just doesn't seem to be having an effect. It doesn't seem immune. It just doesn't seem like you're getting high enough of an AC to get past its AC.
That's so sad.
All right. You doing anything else?
Do I have anything else?
I would say you probably have 10 feet of movement left.
Oh yeah. I
And
did
you
want
would
to
know
back
that it already
away
used
like
its reaction.
I did want to back away 5 feet.
Okay,
Yeah.
5 feet or 10 feet?
5,
Okay.
just to.
Okay. All right. That's going to take us to Forain, Salvador on deck.
Holy cannoli. No, I think I want to not be getting wailed on right now, and where I think generally it seemed wise to fall back on turning into a bear. They're healthy, they're husky. I'm gonna just go for the healthiest, most full of vitality creature I can think of, and I recall back at what's his museum?
Muldoon's.
Muldoon's museum that he had tigers there.
Yes.
While my body has been lacerated heavily, all the lacerations are going to start plumping up and then turning black, and they're going to turn into tiger stripes.
Okay.
And I'm going to wild shape into a tiger,
Smart.
and then I'm going to attack it.
Okay, great. So you and you're up.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I would say as part of wild shaping, just because that's such a badass thing you just chose to do, you come out of your morph in a standing position.
Oh, nice.
You are no longer prone.
Cool. So I'm going to attack, and that's going to be an 18 to hit.
Okay, that's gonna hit.
Okay, and it's only gonna be 1d plus 3. That's all right. Hopefully I roll high. Oh fuck me. 4 damage.
4 damage. That's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it for now.
Okay. That's going to take us to the Ankeg's turn. It's going to see you turn into some delicious food.
Fuck.
And it's going to... What is it going to do? You're going to see it's going to be a little shocked by you turning into this delicious food. It's going to actually pull back a little bit. It's going to pull back to right here. Are you going to do attack of opportunity?
No.
Okay. You're going to see its mouth is going to kind of hiss open. It's going to, and it's going to exude a acid spray. It's going to do a 30-foot long cone this direction.
Oh,
No, sorry, 30 foot wide, 15 feet long. So it's going to hit these two.
What the hell?
So much acid.
Does it give you
All
to walk
right,
back
so
up?
I need
After being
a
kicked
dexterity saving throw from the tiger and from Hecate.
Oh shit, that's probably that's tough. Why not here? 11.
25 and 11. Hecate saves, tiger does not save.
That's okay.
That is going to be a
The smell of burning fur.
3d6. 2,
Yay.
6, so
No.
8 total. 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 total. Halved for Hecate, so 6 damage Hecate, 12 for tiger. Alright, that is going to end his turn. That's going to take us to Salvador.
So it's half movement to get off the horse.
Half movement to get off the horse.
I'll use that half movement and then 20 feet. So that's.
You have 40 feet of movement? Nice.
Nice.
I believe you. We'll fix it when we go on break. Because it just turned off. That's fine.
There. Javelin.
For those watching, because of COVID and shipping delays, the power cable didn't come in, so we don't have a power cable. We'll swap the battery after this fight. All right, so you moved up.
Yep.
What do you got?
Javelin.
Javelin. Awesome. Chunk it.
Yes.
17. That's gonna hit.
Yes.
Go ahead and give me your damage roll.
That is 6 piercing.
Okay.
And then I'll take a hand axe. And
Okay.
that.
Bonus action.
That is a 14.
14's gonna miss. So the axe hits it, but it just doesn't pierce the hardened scales.
Did you roll for the spear?
Yeah, you did. It was like a 21 to hit or something like that. It was big. It was a big one. All right. You doing anything else on your turn?
I think that's it.
In response to your turn ending, it's going to use its first villain action. It is going to burrow at its full burrow movement speed. It is back under the ground. That takes us to top of the round. Hephaestia, it is your turn.
Okay, I have hunters marked it. So let me see what that is. Bonus action. Choose a creature you see within range, mystically marked or worry until the spell ends. You deal extra d6 damage. You have advantage on wisdom perception or wisdom survival check to make to find it. Target drops to 0 hit points. Spell ends. Okay. So I could basically track it and find it, but since it's underground, I just.
So I will say
feel
that as
it's
part
underground.
of it happening in 6 seconds, you can track it underground.
Uh-huh.
You know that it's about here.
Barrel. Okay.
Oh.
I will run. Okay, I'm gonna do this, and we'll see if it works.
Where are you running to?
I'm gonna run to that spot and use my bonus action to Misty Step.
Interesting.
So I'm gonna try and if it's like a trap, I'm trying to spring the trap but not be there.
Gotcha. So as you start moving and you're tracking, you're watching it, you see it begin to turn in your direction as you start moving.
Okay.
So you said you're going to here?
Yeah.
And you're going to Misty Step?
Yeah. To the other side.
To the other
I'll
side.
probably be in the mud a little bit. But as a ranger, I ignore difficult terrain.
That's fine. I think that's only in travel, not in combat. But I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
Okay, you do that, and nothing pops out of the ground.
Okay. I do my free action and say that it's under your feet, Farine. And Kate. And then I can't hold my action, can I? If I've used my bonus action?
Is Misty Step a bonus action?
Yes.
Yeah, you can declare what your held action will be, and it costs you a reaction to expend it.
Okay.
So your action is either hold a spell or hold whatever it is. You have to designate what it is.
Yeah.
And then you can use your reaction to.
If it shows, I have an arrow ready.
Okay.
To shoot.
So if it shows itself, you'll fire.
Mhm.
Got it. Perfect. Okay, Sandro, you're up. Hecate on deck.
What do we do? I will ready an action to attack it if it pops up in melee range, and I will use a bonus action to give help to Salvador to attack it.
Okay. All right. So you've been helped to attack it. Hecate, you are up. Are you? Hecate, your turn. Forain on deck.
Okay. I'm gonna cast. Wait, is it still under the ground?
It's still underground.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind. JK. I'm just. What can I do other than just step out of the way? I guess, like a few feet. So about 10 feet. I'm gonna step to the left.
Okay. to this way or this way?
Left.
That
This-
way. Your left. Got it.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. As you move,
Mm-hmm.
you see your hunter's mark move towards her.
I'm sure.
Okay. My turn is over. Alright.
All right. You doing anything else, Akate?
No.
All right. At the end of your turn, because he used his burrow villain action at the end of the last round, so he has a new reaction because it's top of the new round. At the end of your turn, he's going to use his actual villain actions don't require a reaction, but nonetheless, at the end of your turn, he's going to use his second villain action. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please. Should be easy for you.
Oh.
You jinx it?
Oh
you
no.
jinx her?
Why would you say that?
Wow.
What is it?
I got a 5.
It should
Oh,
be easy
well,
for
what's
you.
your saving modifier?
Okay, so plus 4.
I knew what
or
I
wait,
was
6.
doing.
Okay.
So,
So yeah, I got 11.
11.
Not
had
great.
to beat a 13. So about half of it erupts out of the ground. You may take your shot.
yes.
Half of it,
And
okay.
because of sharpshooter,
What do you want to know?
I don't get disadvantage on things taking half cover. Or it
That's
doesn't
true.
get
That's
any
true.
bonus
You ignore
to
cover.
half
Yeah.
cover and 3/4 cover, so it does not get an improvement to its AC.
Perfect. Take your shot.
Do you want to take the -5 to hit for
Alright.
plus 10?
Are you going for bukus of damage? Or are you going for reliability?
Declare it before you roll, please.
I
Got it.
know, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yes, I will take the -5
Negative
penalty.
5 for an additional 10
Attack
damage.
roll.
Okay.
Yes, but I'm also going to make this force damage.
Okay, perfect.
It's gonna make me
Oh, wait, can I do that? Hold
It has a fair AC, doesn't it?
I think it's like a 16.
I'll get it.
You got it. You got it. You got it.
No.
Oh no, the arrow flies wild.
Yeah.
All right.
I wouldn't
Hecate,
even
you
hit it
feel
even if I didn't do the negative
Sharp teeth bear into your flesh since you failed that dexterity saving throw. I need you to take 4 plus 3 points of damage, so take 7 damage.
Okay.
All the rest of you watching this happen, watch as Hecate gets pulled underground.
Holy
Oh.
shit. Okay, that's
She
not good.
completely vanishes from sight.
Shit. What do I got? Oh no.
You hear that?
Gets muffled a little bit or something.
Yeah.
Is mud not water?
I mean,
A little bit, but I still don't want to breathe it in.
Same team.
I'm just saying, if we could cast water breathing.
Let's
water
not
or
add
something.
choking to this bad situation.
That's right
I'm gonna kill someone today.
now. Maybe, Jesus.
No shit.
I don't
killed a
know.
horse. He had a name.
What was his name?
Steve.
Oh, alright.
We don't know that though.
If only. If only.
We only gave
and
him
it's
a
just
name
giant
at
octopus.
his death.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's in
yeah,
the
yeah.
museum.
Was there a
Final
giant
moments.
octopus in the museum?
Yeah.
Or
No.
ate Steve.
I don't know, man. I have nothing
All right,
useful for this.
Crocodile. You said
That was
big
end of Hecate's turn for rain. It is your turn. Salvador on deck.
They go, man, they have fucking. I can't see it anymore.
Correct.
Um,
Your hunter's mark is still on it, right? You are aware that it's basically gone straight down about 10 feet.
Okay, so not very far.
I am going to. Smart
This
boy-
is you, right?
Yeah.
What's your passive perception?
So,
It's over 20, right?
yeah.
You see a mound similar to when you burrowed as a giant badger or whatever it was.
Okay, so I know he's underground.
Well,
Probably.
you know he's underground, but you know it's probably left a tunnel.
Yeah.
Ooh, muddy tunnel.
I just don't think I even stand a chance over there. So is there like an open gaping mud hole?
Hard to say from your current position.
Okay, man, I just can't. I will.
It's a safe assumption based on what you know about burrowing and your high passive perception.
My problem is I have nothing that can exclude hitting her. Right, an evocation wizard can sculpt out their
Yeah,
teammates.
sculpt it.
I can create, tactical nuke in that one spot, but she's there.
I need to know what you're gonna do.
I'm gonna use my bonus.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. You're just holding the hourglass. That's it.
I'm gonna use my bonus action to expend a first level slot to heal some.
Okay.
Plus my constitution. Okay, and then I will back up. Wait, you can long jump up to your strength score, right?
Yes. If you have running start.
Yeah. It's Tiger is that's probably difficult terrain, right? So back at 1 to 5, and then 10, 20, and then I'll 2 right there. No, wait. No, that's my movement. Okay. Oh wait, no, but I actually have more movement than a human, so that's. No, 5, 10, 15. Yeah. So I'm just gonna make a big old splash as a tiger over there, right in the middle.
Let's play Splash.
Okay. You do anything else?
Nope.
You just move.
Okay. So you use.
Oh wait, I use my movement. I use
You
my. Can I hold my action to just flail at it if it? I'm using my reaction to attack it.
If it comes back up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it's the Onkek's turn. Hecate, as you're being pulled underground, you look up, you see a gaping tunnel being left in your wake. You feel yourself being dragged down. You can feel its teeth in you.
Okay.
You can see it's using its claws as part of like burrowing backwards.
Okay.
It's not able to make a multi-attack at you with its claws.
Okay.
It is, however, going to bite down on you even harder.
Gotcha. Okay. It's dragging me. Where is it biting down? Like
It's on your
legs?
leg. Yep.
Okay. At least.
Cut him off. Climb free.
It's going to have advantage on this attack, but the
Let me
first
get my
roll
dagger.
was a
My serrated
19
dagger. Oh yeah.
and a 10. So 19, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
definitely hits.
Yeah.
Uh,
Unfortunately, it
I'm an
does.
idiot. I could just jump
that is 5 from the dice roll plus 3, so 8 damage.
Another 8 damage.
Another 8 damage.
Why?
Because it's biting you.
Ma'am.
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure I'm like hooked right now, guys.
How much health do you have?
I'm not sure that I have any.
Oh, you
Are you dead?
So-
Are you incapacitated underground?
Did you level up your character?
Yeah.
Did you give yourself more hit points?
Oh, wait. Maybe not.
That matters. Just saying.
Do you know what's your max?
Oh, yeah. Okay. 4d8. Okay. Never mind. They did go up, and I haven't wrote it down on my sheet. That was my issue. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead and get it wrote it on your sheet.
I'm doing it.
Wrote it.
I'm doing it.
Wrote it in on your sheet. All right.
No.
I need to go. I need to know if you're incapacitated.
I'm letting you know. No, I'm good.
Okay, good.
I'm totally fine.
I, the DM, am a little
Simmer
worried.
down.
So we're dying.
Okay. He bit you.
He bit you. He bit you.
That was such
And
a
that's
sing
it.
songy thing to do.
Um,
Is this a musical now?
What a great way to end the turn.
So you're gonna feel it drag you down, and you're gonna feel almost crushed by its body as it squeezes its way through the tunnel past you.
Okay.
All right, it's gonna kick with its back legs and collapse the tunnel
Oh.
and pull itself up onto the surface.
Okay.
You, as you see the tunnel start to collapse, you take one big breath of air. You can hold your breath for 1 plus your Constitution modifier.
Okay.
In minutes.
Number of rounds.
It's
Perfect.
minutes.
Am I
Okay.
missing something? I thought I had that right.
Minutes, right?
Minutes.
Minutes. Yeah, minutes. Well, yeah, a round is so that's
6
yeah.
seconds.
You're right.
People can hold their breath for a while at D&D.
Yeah, they really can. I think it comes out to like what's your con modifier? 0.
Oh,
So 10 rounds.
10 rounds, and you can hold your breath. That should be okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think you
I
were being
hope so.
sarcastic, so then we rolled out the 0. and I was
So
like,
now
oh.
running
You
is
thought I was being sarcastic?
You weren't being sarcastic.
Oh.
I said perfect.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So to designate that you were underground, I'm just going to turn you sideways.
Well,
Wait.
That's
Just
Hephaestus.
kill Hephaestus.
Oh, that's Hephaestus.
Oh.
Where's Hephaestus?
Hey now.
God. You were sideways,
Thank you.
and it's going to pop up right here. That
Back
used,
where I
yeah,
was,
it used
back
10
where-
feet of its movement to do that.
Okay.
It's going to charge.
I want to hiss at it.
It's going to hiss back as it charges at you.
That's
All right. Salvador, your turn.
9. 5, 10, 15, 20. Come up and just great sword, long swords, and one.
in the butt, huh?
Okay, nice.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
Ask
sword
a
first.
question.
Oh.
Got it. Get it.
I would react to the question.
All right. What'd you
Great
roll?
sword for 17.
17 to hit.
Yep.
All right, that hits.
Hit it, please. Hit it so much.
I just keep whipping it.
Great sword is 10.
10.
Long sword. Long sword is 14. Or I'm sorry, 13. Long sword is 13.
13. Okay.
It's not
Hold on a second. Okay. Sorry, one more time. You hit it? I did
13.
13
Two hit.
with another
Long
attack?
sword. Yes.
No, that is going to miss.
Okay. And I will now action surge.
Okay. Nice.
Good time.
Love a good action surge.
And I'll be for another hit with the great sword.
Okay.
Fuck. 10.
10.
Alright, so
Didn't you have inspiration?
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that out there. Didn't you give inspiration for something? That doesn't matter. It's not my job to keep up with.
I have inspiration written
I
down.
want to say I.
It's alright. Moving on. Are you doing anything else with your turn with your action surge? Any other movement? Anything else like that? So I think you get a bonus action
Oh, I do
too.
get. Okay, then I'll do another attack with long sword.
Okay, do it.
That will hit.
That hits. Roll your damage.
Somebody knock it prone so I get advantage.
is this a large creature?
It is.
Okay. I'm also currently large.
7 damage. 7.
7. Okay. Alright, anything else?
That will be my turn.
Great use of action surge. It's going to take us to the top of the round. Hephaestus, you are up.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot at it.
Okay?
And to do the force thing, it is a bonus action.
Okay, so bonus action force.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. 16?
16 hits.
Oh my
Finally.
goodness.
And since I have a hunter's mark, it's an extra d6, and it's a d8 plus 4. Plus it being all force damage. Oh, wait. Does it do the extra? I have it in here. It's a little easier to read. 1d8, so it's another d8 of damage.
2d8 plus 1d6 plus
4. Ow.
Oh no.
I have 1, a 2, a 4, so 7 plus 4 is 11 force damage.
Okay.
Does it make a little sonic booms when it shoots at it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
Or like a little
So it just
explosion.
boom, boom, it just hit you. You finally your arrow hits and it just kind of explodes on it. It turns at you.
Okay.
As your turn ends, it's going to use its third villain action, Acid Explosion. You're going to see the on-kick start to swell up.
Mainly.
I need every creature within 30 feet of it to make a DC 13 Dexterity saving throw. So you're within 30 feet, which I believe is everybody except for Hecate and
Really?
who's this?
Sandra.
Sandra, are you hiding way back here again?
Even the DM is done with your
Oh
shit.
my god, Jesus.
Hey, Sandra's not the one on the ground right now, so yeah. So everybody except for this side of the table, I need a Dexterity saving throw.
Why not me?
You're underground.
Oh yeah, no. Okay,
Well, I mean, if you're only 20 feet underground, you can make it if you really wanted to.
No. Am I trying to
Fail.
I
Nah.
crit
You
on
do
this.
want
What
to,
the
yeah.
Succeed.
hell?
14.
14.
If I had done that, my
Swim
vicious bow
in
would
the
have done
mud.
even more damage.
All right. Everybody that
the hell?
succeeded will take. Okay, everybody who failed will take 25 points of damage. Everybody who succeeded will take half that.
So 10, 12. If you round down.
12 if you round it.
I take it is not considered a melee attack.
Yeah. No.
Did it explode?
No. It swelled up. It extruded in all directions. This acid,
Like
and
a
then it was
frog.
back down to its regular
So
size.
that was 24.
24. No, 25. If you fail.
That is half my health.
Oof. Start thinking about what your permanent scars are
Yeah.
going to look like. Alrighty, Sandro, you are up. Hecate on deck.
Okay. I will now run forward to kind of where the acid just like splashed off of it.
Okay.
So if it's a large creature, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You're right there, and I'm like start yelling out like thematically, just like go for the legs or go for that weak spot or whatever. And I'm gonna
The
give
giant crab.
as an action, I'm going to help.
Oh shoot! You had given me a help action, which I completely forgot.
Do me a favor. Well, you'll have it on your next turn.
Okay.
You spent action economy to do it. I don't like the idea that if you forget in this hectic game that you
Yeah.
lose it. So you'll use it next round. But if you forget this next round, it's gone.
Okay. And in that case, I'll help you too.
Oh. Okay.
Action, bonus action, giving you both help. You have advantage on your next attack.
Oh, nice.
All right. Nice.
And then I'm
support
like-
rogue. Support rogue. Dope.
Yes.
And then you're gonna want to take that back as I. You got this.
Hey, you can't support if you're dead.
That's awesome.
Right there.
I need advantage.
Mastermind.
There you go. All right.
Wow.
Hecate, Hecate, what are you doing? You are approximately 10 feet underground. The tunnel is sealed.
Oh, wait, you.
I am doing whatever I can, which I guess can I like
Both of you.
swim upward?
We're
Or
both
maneuver
mainly
upward?
So now that it's your turn, as the next 6 seconds starts trickling on you, it collapses in and collapses down.
Oh, shit.
You are effectively restrained.
Okay, gotcha. So there's really nothing that I can do. Like the hardest I try, I can't get out of the situation.
Make a strength. Make an athletics saving throw for me. It's a high DC.
But not okay. Wait, who did you say?
Shit. Okay, what is it? Strength, you said?
Athletics.
Athletics? Okay. Okay, 8 plus 4. Yeah. 12. Yeah.
12. Gotcha. So yeah, you're trying with your might, but the weight of the dirt is just too heavy.
Yeah,
this
the
time.
mud and everything. Okay, gotcha.
And you can feel the pressure of the dirt on your chest.
Okay, gotcha. So it's.
Well, you're not breathing. You're holding your breath.
Oh, okay.
You're
never mind.
holding your breath
Yeah, I'm done.
currently.
It's only been one round.
9 more.
Alright, so am I attacking it my next?
Sorry.
next.
Yes, Forain, you are up. Salvador on deck.
That's going to be a.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reroll that, I guess. It was 14. I probably would have made it. It's 17 now. It's gone. I mean, I would have beat its AC either way. I was just wanting to. It was a con roll to see if I could crit for another one.
Got it.
Megan?
So I'll wildly hiss back at him. And I'll try to bat him around with my claws out.
Okay.
This is a new form for me. I'm kind of just like slap fighting with these razors.
Okay. Natural.
Never been a tiger before.
I've never been a tiger before. This is a new
I've never even seen a tiger before the museum.
It's true.
You're like,
Never even heard of such a beast.
It's gonna be 7 damage. Yeah, 7 damage.
Okay.
For a Okay. And it's piercing.
Okay.
And that is all. Oh wait, no, that's not all I can do. I'll use my bonus action to burn another first level slot because I want to heal.
Okay.
Good.
I legitimately don't know this. Can you cast spells in your wild shape form?
When you're on a wild shape form for a Serpent of the Moon Druid, you can expend a spell slot to recover 1d8 HP per level of the slot that you expend as your bonus action.
Neat. Okay, cool. Neat. I know very little about druids, other than that they're nature. Is that it for your turn?
Yep.
All right, that's gonna be the Unkeg's turn. Seeing after that great sword jabbed into it as hard as it did, it's gonna turn at you, and it's gonna turn at you, Salvador, and it's going to bring its claw into you. Natural 1! It's gonna miss. The other claw comes right at you. That's a 12 plus 8, I believe. I assume that's gonna hit.
Yeah.
It's a
What is that?
20. 18. Yeah, no 20.
That hits.
That hits.
As a reaction, I will riposte.
That's gonna affect the damage dealt.
I attack back.
You
Actually,
attack.
you know what?
Here, let me get the damage out of the way first. What's 1d8? That's 2 plus 3, I believe. Yeah, 3, so 5 damage from the claw. Alright.
I will. I'll parry it.
You'll parry it, okay?
And there's like use your reaction, expend one superiority die. To reduce the damage plus your dexterity. That is a 2.
Okay, plus your dexterity mod, though, right?
That's a 0.
Oh, okay. Yep, so you take 3 damage instead of 5. It's good. Good damage mitigation. Alright. That's it for the Unkeg's turn, I think. Do I want to use more movement? Yeah, why not? We will... What would I do? Would burrow? To what end would it burrow? Oh, you go for its food? Yeah, sure. Burrow. Alright.
What?
You see it use its burrow speed to move. It would proc a attack of opportunity if anybody wanted to do that.
Cool, yeah.
I already used my reaction.
Oh, that's not gonna hit.
Okay.
You have
It is-
advantage.
Oh, help action.
Oh, okay. That will hit. That's a 17 plus something. And so oh yes, 10 plus 3, so 13 damage as it tries to go away. I'm gonna assume whichever claw it critical hit with that was kind of stuck in the mud as it goes away. I start to go and fang into it. It probably tastes terrible.
It might taste like
A
crap.
little spicy.
So as you do that, you see it gushes acid, not in a way that's going to damage you.
Okay.
Flavor.
Thank God.
You see it.
Bad flavor.
Bad flavor. You see it bleeding profusely out of that spot, and you actually rip off a chunk of its leg that you grabbed onto.
Okay.
Looks very hurt.
Okay.
But it is underground. It is now its turn. It's going to move over to about here, underground. You're going to see 2 claws pop up out of the ground. It's going to grab its horse and pull it underground.
Its horse?
The horse that was eaten.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so, it's going to pop up right where that horse was, grab it in its mandibles and its claws, and pull it underground. And you see it disappear back under the dirt.
Oh, that's not good.
Salvador, you are up.
Do I see a hole where it went down?
Yeah, there's a hole there.
I go into it.
Okay, yeah, so as you get over to the hole, it hasn't collapsed it back yet, so you see a tunnel going down about 10, 15 feet maybe, and it looks like it kind of curves, so you don't immediately see the Unkeg, but you do have it's a large tunnel, but it's going to be difficult terrain for you, so go ahead and just assume half movement in this space.
Okay.
The Unkeg is designed to travel in this kind of a tight burrow.
Right.
So yeah, you're able to jump in. As you get into the hole and it turns flat, the Unkeg there's like horse right in front of you, and then like 5 feet past it, the Unkeg's about 10 feet away from you.
Okay.
If he jumps down, falling doesn't cost you your movement, right? So can he actually get to it yet, or
I've got 40 feet.
if he's only 10 feet away?
If you take 1d6 of damage, 10 foot and then curve.
But otherwise, I wouldn't be in range.
Otherwise, it would be in range. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay. Take your 1d6.
Oh my god. Roll.
Roll
I
and
wasn't
just
even a roll. I
drop.
just dropped.
Should have given it more horizontal velocity.
Spin.
I didn't.
That's how we play D&D.
Bam. I'm not gonna roll. I'm gonna roll my
Yeah.
hand down.
I should
Just
have had
place
the
the
answer.
dice down.
You are
Nice
in
one.
range.
Not a
You
meter.
are in range, but between the horse kind of in your way and the tight space, you are going to attack with disadvantage.
That's information that would have been pertinent.
Are you a tunnel fighter class fighter?
No.
You wouldn't have known that. Do you swing your greatsword?
I mean, I was going to be doing essentially a stabbing with the greatsword and the axe.
Make an athletics check for me. Or not athletics. Make a acrobatics check for me.
$16.
16? Okay. Yeah, you're able to get in there, put your body weight of your Yuan-ti snake figure on top of the horse, and kind of weasel your sword so that you can make a stab without disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh.
So, do the help action I have advantage?
So, but as you're laying there, there's just like horse snout like on your shoulder, and it's just
So, do I get advantage on both of my attacks, or is it just one?
You're first.
Okay, first? Okay. Then I will have that for the axe, and my second attack will be critics.
That horse's life is flashing before his eyes right now.
That horse is
That
like
horse
flashed
is
before
dead.
times like 3 rounds.
Oh, never mind. Well,
Yeah, he did.
Does it take my bonus action to do both my attacks, or is that just a fighter thing where I know?
If you have 2 attacks, but
You don't have extra attack yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just have a bonus action to do an extra. You can do a bonus action like offhanded attack.
You have dual weapon fighting?
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. But I mean, you're using a 2-handed weapon, right? So you don't have
Not
to.
anymore. I've got the feet.
it lets him.
Well, lets you use.
Break weapon
But
fighter.
I've got,
Wait, is
got
that?
the feet
Letting
for letting me use.
a great sword in one hand.
Yeah.
Dual. Okay, cool. No, I believe you.
So I can attack with both
Break weapon
weapons.
that turn.
Because it takes my bonus action to attack with my second hand weapon.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfectly fine.
So, dig in.
Sorry, because of the audio issues this morning, I didn't really have time to
No,
ask you what you
yeah.
took as feats. So
So
I trust you.
that is a 16
Okay.
for the first
Use 2.
roll.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely take a 16.
Okay.
Oh.
16's gonna hit.
Okay.
It depends on that's what he's took or not. Because there's other ones because you took it.
No, you just let me do it.
Ooh, 9 plus 3, 12. Actually, and then plus 1 damage, so 13.
Okay.
And now, great sword.
How much damage did you do?
13.
What do we see?
Yes.
What do you see?
Yes. So I want to see its like kind of mouth like through, I guess, like where the horse is and everything. Look at me, and I just want to take the entire axe, just like right down like the throat, essentially.
Okay.
And
Great.
then
Yeah,
just-
yeah, it looks up at you and hisses, and you just plunge your great sword right into its, right through its mandible mouth. Awesome.
Ooh.
Acid spills out from it.
Naturally.
It's going to use its last reaction,
It would.
which is Acid Sprinkler.
Sprinkler.
When the on-keg is lowered to 0 hit points, it begins to spasm violently before erupting in all directions. Each creature within 10 feet of it, just going to be you and a dead horse, make a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage from the tight space.
Yeah, because you can't really evade.
I'll say if I could maybe just hide behind the horse, that's all I can do.
Yeah, this is like a last-ditch effort to move a horse between you. Okay, that's a 4.
That's gonna be fair.
Yeah.
That's going to be a failure. All right. Oh, wrong one. Okay, it's not that bad. It's only 3d6.
Think of it as like a mild
it's 3.
exfoliant for
6.
shedding season.
12 damage.
Is that close? Oh no.
It's like just arms crawling out of that hole.
Golly.
Oh man, you're gonna molt early this season.
It is the wet season.
All right. Unfortunately, you can't have your badass exit from the ground just yet. So the rest of you are not aware that the on-keg is dead, unless you go down there and look. That being said, you have a free action. So if you're going to shout out or something, you can. But not going to make perception roll. For Rains, do you still have your perception as a tiger? Your
Yeah,
passive?
it keeps my mental.
Cool.
I will be like, goddamn bastards. Fuck.
Does it let out any sort of like groan as he stabs it?
I mean,
Does he
you
feel
can hear acids.
it?
You can hear acid happening. You can hear
Okay.
whatever it sounds like when a bug.
You see
turns
just
out
acid spew out of
Yeah, it's a little bit of acid splashes up out of the top. Unfortunately, all you heard was fuck, acid. So you don't technically know that it's dead.
I said,
Not really.
I think I said, yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
I don't think
Alright,
Salvador was
so-
saying before in the old moment.
Yeah, that's fair. That's gonna
Well,
take
my
you-
hunter's mark would become deactivated if it dies.
your hunter's mark does become deactivated, and it is your turn.
Oh, great. And I say, in Sylvan, basically the equivalent of huzzah. Like,
What is that? No, no, no.
hold on. I was gonna say Yikbin, but that's not right. That's somebody's name, so I don't want to do that. Frey.
Oh, that's really
Right.
close to my name. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm gonna kind of. I don't know exactly where she is, but I'm gonna try and see if there's anything left over.
The hole
Yeah.
is completely sealed, but there is a dip.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess I'll, before I leave though, I'll put my stuff, like, on the road where it's not super muddy, and then I'll just try to, dig.
Okay, so you start digging with your hands.
Yeah.
Make a athletics check for me.
So I don't have a shovel or anything. And I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna dig with my sword, so I'll just get messy. It's an 11 plus.
How wet is this mud?
It's mud.
But like,
So-
is it
It's
like?
it's mud. It's more mud.
It's
It's,
watery?
not.
A couple inches
You're
of
not,
water.
you're not. Yeah, there's a couple of inches of water.
Okay.
That is true. So yeah, it's
So it's
moving.
like digging in
Okay.
sand almost.
Almost.
Like,
The deeper you go, the more it becomes less water and more just.
It is
damp
blues
dirt.
though, because
Yep.
but
You
yeah.
rolled higher than a 10.
Yeah.
You make about a foot worth of a dent with
Uh-huh.
your action to do that.
Okay.
Digging with your bare hands. All right. Who else is doing anything?
And I say I could use a little help here.
Okay, so take us to Sandro. What are you doing?
It is Hephaestus or Hecate's life that I fear.
We're moving more to a
Something.
skill-based set of challenges in this initiative than similar to when we were saving Denim from the
Oh, okay.
from the house.
Okay.
I'm mostly curious what you're trying to do to help save your friend.
Yeah, I'll drop my stuff off as well, and like, what is it dead? What are we doing? And just like get down there and try
Roll
to
athletics.
4.
4. Okay, you make about half a foot of a dent, so you'll dug about a foot and a half
Oh,
by
it's
hand.
gross.
Back into her pile.
All right. Hikate, what are you doing underground?
I'm trying to.
You can make an athletics check for
Oh,
me.
I can? Okay,
Yep.
goody.
Same as you did before.
Okay.
It's high DC.
Okay. I don't know what's wrong with my rolls today. They're really bad. Okay, 11.
How long did we say you could hold your breath? 10
Nine.
minutes, 1 minute?
No,
7
10.
more rounds.
How many minutes?
1 plus
1
your
minute.
con mod.
Okay.
So she's got 7 rounds left.
Yeah.
You
So
made an 11.
7
which is what I
turns
did.
of the dial, just so we all are aware.
Okay, gotcha.
So make your turns quickly.
You made the same athletics roll I did.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, no, just notice my rolls. have been
What was it?
crummy. 11.
11. You feel yourself inch forward a little bit, like you're just kind of. You move forward a little bit, but not by any kind of a significant margin.
Okay.
Alright, it's going to take us to Farain.
All right,
Make your turn quickly. This is 6.
Someone move me up to the spot. All right, I'm going to drop wild shape, and you're going to see that I am heavily injured. I am bleeding so much.
Okay.
So much blood.
Okay.
But I am attuned to the birds and the bees and the trees and nature and the ground around me, and I'm going to use the first ability of Mold Earth. If you target an area of loose earth, you can instantly excavate it, move it along the ground, and deposit it up to 5 feet away.
Nice.
This movement doesn't have enough force to cause damage, so I'm going to take 5 cubic feet and just.
So we have 7 feet.
You do that. Y'all have made about 7 feet of a distance towards.
Woohoo!
All right, it's gonna take
So
us
close.
to the Ankh. No, I'm kidding.
The second Ankh.
The other one.
Salvador, you're up.
That was just the big.
What are you doing?
I'm going to start climbing out of the hole.
Okay.
So what was it? 15 feet to get up out of the hole, like
Yeah,
up and around.
yeah, absolutely. I would say you have the movement to do it.
And then I'll go over here.
So you come out of the hole and you literally just shake the acid off your sword. You like there is no sun, but if there was one, it'd be billowing behind you because suns do that. And you just look like a total badass. No one is looking at you. They're all
Splashing in the mud.
They're all splashing
Sorry,
in the mud.
Despite
frantically.
that, Salvador looks disgusting. He's bleeding, he's covered in acid, and he just kind of slithers on over, and he's just gonna like take his hand and just shove it into the ground.
Oh, you look
Like sheer strength. Yes.
You look worse than me.
And then like just try and reach around, I guess. with
So
the
you're
hand.
just attempting to plunge your hand through this relatively soft, freshly burrowed dirt.
Yes.
Okay? Give me an athletics check.
Jesus. 4.
For
You are
you
bleeding.
I am pretty.
you
wounded.
reach in maybe 6 inches and you pull out one handful of dirt. It doesn't make any sort of
An effect,
progress.
yeah.
It doesn't do any sort of effect. 5. We'll come back to Hephaestus. Sandra.
Seeing that Farain was able to do literally 10 times the work that we just did,
It's magic.
I'm like, oh, okay, all right, Farain's got this, and I'll step back and just kind of look around for the horses and be like, I'm shell
Perception
shocked.
check.
What in Palor's name just happened?
Perception check.
Nat 20.
You see one horse approximately 200 feet in a direction. All right, Hecate, I need you to start your turn making a Constitution saving throw.
Finally, I got something. Okay. What do I need to add to this other than?
Constitution.
Just-
It's the stuff up in that little square.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. I got a 15.
A 15. You feel the pressure on your lungs from being compacted by dirt
Yeah.
begin to burn.
Oh.
You're fighting the urge to. Your lungs are your
Yeah,
lungs
I'm
are
getting ready to
searching
pass
for
out,
air. Your
kinda.
lungs are searching for air, but it's not so much that you're running out of air; it's
Oh.
the pressure.
Oh.
It's like a diver being deep underwater, but you have dirt compacting you from all sides.
Okay, gotcha.
So this is less of a drowning, how long you can hold your breath situation. This is pressure.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, but you resist it. Farain.
More magical mudslinging.
More magic mudslinging.
Yeah, so
Um,
another 5 foot down, just,
Okay.
and then it's gonna slide back up,
Okay.
against gravity, and then just sort of cake itself to the sides.
Okay. That'd be funny, but you have really high passive perception. You pull out just a 5-foot chunk of mud and it pulls over here. At first, you don't see anything.
Okay.
But as the dirt starts to slide out, you see Hecate's hand has come up with the dirt you pulled out.
Okay.
Just the hand.
Yeah, just
Separately.
In the rest of our
From my body.
yeah, you see the hand first, but as the mud sort of falls off, you see a foot, you see other things. and
Okay.
It's
She's
like,
in
she's there.
pieces.
You see her. You see her. I just thought it would have been hysterical if y'all had a low passive perception and y'all just
Kept digging.
kept digging, and she's in the pile behind you, totally alive. And so you were able to eventually you feel the pressure release. You feel the sensation of you
Yeah.
coming out. You're no longer in initiative order.
Okay.
You're able to push forward and you breathe in finally as air is able to get to you.
Yeah.
You are fine,
Yeah. Okay.
for lack of trauma.
Okay.
Alright,
You're
well,
out of
In
initiative.
Palor's name was that.
Salvador just kind of just falls over. He is exhausted.
The only character with any knowledge of what this would have been is you, Salvador. You are familiar with Ankegs. They live in the jungle, in the jungleless region. You're not terribly far from a jungle. It's not far-fetched to think that perhaps they have stalked this road before, and that is what's happened in this case. This is a taste of jungle life, being so close to.
My character's getting dizzy from blood loss, and he's like, "Oh, that's a wrap. It's time for me to take a nap." And I'll go over to wherever Salvador is, and I'm just gonna lay right next to Salvador.
We're in the mud, just. Welcome to your first taste of Jakir.
What?
I say it's not too late to head back, right? We forgot coffee as well.
The horses are over.
We don't have horses.
Is
anymore,
Farain
right?
still alive?
These horses.
I kind of do a pat on Farain.
Yeah.
And do you pat back a little bit?
Yeah, I'll pat back.
He's
a
still
little.
alive.
What?
I can track the horses down.
Okay, I'll stay here and watch.
I hand you the potion. I'll kind of like pet Farain a little bit, and I'll use Cure Wounds.
Oh, nice.
Which is a.
Salvador is worse off for healing. He's needing. You look at him. He's
Still
so much
bleeding.
bleeding.
Everywhere.
Salvador, it's melted off.
I imagine like half of part of his hood has been melted off from the half damage
okay.
from the acid.
Well,
Yeah, so those of you that took severe wounds in that fight, it's going to take a restoration spell. It's going to take something strong to actually heal the physical damage. Right.
You only,
but not the mental.
how does that work again? Is it? I mean, I got pummeled on the ground,
If
but
you
none
take
of it
more
was
than half your damage
in one shot.
in
or
one shot, so not
Okay.
3,
Okay.
one shot.
Gotcha.
So I don't think you're going to be permanently scarred.
No.
Your camera thing unplugged.
The charger.
No, it fell.
Oh, the battery came out. Is that what we're
No.
saying, or did we lose?
It fell
Oh, yeah.
out of
Okay,
the outlet for whatever reason.
My thought was that you were trying to tell me this cable just magically unplugged itself.
No.
Okay, so you get 6, and then I'll hand Sandro the potion to give to Salvador. It's a 44.
Oh,
I drink it. No.
Yeah, it doesn't include my ability modifier though.
Alright.
So it's just 44. And then that'll be it for healing. And then I will start to trail off to try and find the horses.
Look for the cart first. That'd probably be the easiest to find.
Yeah.
In fact, the one you saw was the one with the cart.
Oh, okay. You point that one out?
Yeah.
Okay.
A 4, a 1, a 4, and a 1.
nice.
I will bring them. I won't bring them back individually. If you can, you point out the one with the cart, I'll bring that one back. But the other 3 that are still alive, I'll track those. But when I find one, I'll bring it to the other.
4 still alive.
And then,
We had 5. 1 died. One's
Right.
on the cart. There are 3
yeah,
others.
so I bring
Okay.
the cart, but the other 3 that are left.
Alright, so I have Healing Spirit as a spell.
Okay.
Way too OP of a spell. They've added errata to it that says the spirit can heal a number of times equal to 1 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. So
Okay.
I can potentially, I think I can sit in this thing for like 6 turns.
Yeah. People have used it that way before.
Ignore that errata.
Ignore the errata. I would be at full health if I ignored the errata, which would
What
be
was the-
ridiculous.
Ignore it.
Creature's name again? Number 5.
Oh, it's an on-cave. It's an action-oriented
I
on-cave.
can't ignore
It's adventure
uh,
league balance.
A
We're not in
N
adventures
K
league.
I'll leave that.
A N K.
If he lets me not balance it, I will
HE.
fully heal out of combat, but that's pretty strong. It's
What's
like
the spell? Is it a what's the spell level?
a 2nd level spell.
Healing spirit.
How long does it last?
A minute, right?
Yeah, it lasts a while.
Use the modifier.
I feel like it's probably more fair to yeah.
D&D 5th edition's easy enough.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll just take, I guess, we'll probably end up having to take like a short rest or something, an hour.
So you found 1 horse and cart.
Yeah, I led that back to the group, but the other 3 I'm going to try and track.
Okay. Do you have a means of tracking them via being a ranger? That's above and beyond making a investigation check? Or perception
While
check.
tracking other creatures, you want to know their exact number, their size, how long ago they passed through the area.
Oh yeah, so as a ranger, you probably could track them pretty easily. Yeah. Okay. Does it say like does it give any thought as to how quickly you find them?
6.
Oh, you second one, by the way.
It says, even when engaged in other activity while traveling, as such as foraging, navigating, or tracking, you remain alert to danger.
Okay.
If
I
you're
will say-
traveling alone, you can move stealthily at a normal pace.
We'll say that over the course of about an hour of
Yeah.
picking up trails of the
That will
horse that
stealthily
went
go
different
with-
directions, you're
Sitting
able
in
to at
position.
least find them.
Mm-hmm.
And then over the course of an additional hour, getting them all back, retethered, things like that, calmed down. So 2 hours total. Fran, are you going to work to calm them down, or are you just still passed out somewhere?
Actually, for sitting for 30 seconds, cuddled up next to Salvador, but also inside my turtle shell that I seek comfort in. I'm fully healed.
Okay.
I just sat there, and suddenly all the scars seem to adjust.
I'm great.
I like to think that like there's I think when you have healing spirit, there's sort of like an ethereal sort of look to it. I want my childhood friend that has perished. I carry around his turtle
Remains?
shell about. Yeah, I carry around his remains. I like to think that it's sort of like vaguely.
Okay, so there's
around.
a bit of a turtly spirit
Yeah,
that's assisting you in your healing, basically.
Yeah. He's
I'm
like
into
he's
that.
like patting
Salvador
my
thinks
head.
he's hallucinating from blood loss.
But yeah, 30 seconds later, I'm good to go, and I'll walk around and try to gather the horses back. I'll call them by name in horse.
Okay, perfect.
Like their names for themselves, not
Yeah.
the name that we've
Actually,
given them.
I have no idea what their names are.
We're fine.
Okay, so you
It's
all
like a
come back to Kakate.
They don't speak through.
You have been pulled out of this pile of mud.
Mhm.
You're laying
Oh
there.
yeah. How much damage did you
What are you up to?
I gasped for air for a few minutes and just kind of, again, also very much like Forain and Salvador, I just like laid there and just chilled. And then after that, I got up and started kind of like wiping the mud off of me and doing the best I can to
Yeah, how
de-mud
is
myself
your-
in some.
wounds?
Where did you say they said? You said they were on my legs, right?
Yeah,
Concentrating
it
to
bit
my
down
legs.
on your legs.
So I have 6 points of acid damage, and then 15 points of damage to my legs.
Okay.
So they're probably not doing too great.
As a monk, you probably have
Dude,
adamantine leg wraps.
would you tell
Adamantium,
No.
like
Huh?
no, I'm not
So
Wolverine
did you even
and
need
a
my
monk at the
wounds?
same time.
Probably not.
Good
Did
try.
you say something?
Yeah.
I
Yet.
did not think about it while I was bleeding.
I'm X23, and a monk.
But I did. I made a rhyme about him bleeding more than me.
Well, that's why I gave him the health potion. It would have done more healing than that.
All right.
Was it rolled for the healing roll for that potion?
Do what?
Yeah.
I rolled 4 d4s.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure.
I got a 4 and a 1, 4 and a 1.
Oh.
So you rolled 41 on a 44.
Alright. I'll cast Cure Wounds on you.
Is it 44 plus 4?
Oh my god.
So
Wait, is it 44?
it'll be 6 again. You get 6.
I
Back.
get 6 health, or do I need to roll?
You get 6 health.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
So you all take your time getting healed up, and
Short
do we want to
rest.
call that a short rest?
Yeah.
Well, while she's hunting the horses, the rest of us
Yeah.
would get
Sure.
short rest for
So
sure.
you can take
Yeah.
a short rest. You can expend your hit die if you want to heal up.
Oh, I should have just did that.
I know we didn't really declare it.
Yeah.
That's okay. But after you've rested up,
Not having more spell slots.
it's still relatively early in the day, maybe 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock-ish, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
The sky is still complete overcast.
Did we get all the horses back?
All but
I spent 2 hours.
Get
all
to
but one.
All but one.
That's what my character did instead of taking a short
oh yeah,
rest.
2 hours.
Getting
So
a
it's actually
potion.
probably closer to like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Sorry.
But yeah, your short rest is complete. You carry on, and then I need to know what you are doing now that you're down a horse.
I want to take the that piece of the unkeg as a prize that I bit off.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like,
Oh yeah.
what it was an
Oh, it's
unkeg, an
underground
unkeg
now.
hand, unkeg
He said leg. Front of his
leg.
leg.
Oh.
appendage, vestigial arm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just be riding in the cart.
I can walk now.
So one of you's in the cart. That leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 4 horses, right?
Okay.
So,
Nice.
all right. Do you all go back for coffee, or you carry on to Jakir? Just curious what
We'll go
direction.
back to Belgard and stay
shell,
there.
shell shocked.
Shell shocked. Okay. And then I need a marching order.
I'll take up the rear.
I feel like I should probably be somewhere near the front. If I know this thing's
Salvador will
good.
take one.
Okay, so you got you two up in the front, you at the back, you riding in the cart somewhere in the middle. Where's Sakate and all
I'll
this?
be next to last.
Okay, gotcha. So you two in the rear, you two up front. You safely, comfortable riding in the cart in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, someone's on the horse, right? Or was it
Yeah.
pulling the cart?
Yeah, because we didn't have 5 riding horses, and then 1 pulling the cart. We only had 5 horses total.
Totally, yeah.
So one person's on the horse on the.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So if someone's walking, I'll be on that horse.
I probably can't walk as fast as a horse can go.
Yeah.
Some over as long and stuff.
Hey Kate, would you say that you're on the horse with the cart?
Sure.
Somebody. Salvador. We were almost food for that beast. I'm sorry, we were almost food for the. Oh fuck! I fucked up the rhyme.
What are you even saying?
Let me make a note of Titania's wrath.
Do you find we'll end up a creature's feast? Recovered.
We should be more careful as we go. That's really all there is to say, I'm afraid.
I'm going to die.
Seeing seeing one of those kegs take such a frequented route is rather surprising, I should say.
I didn't know what I had in store whenever we were sent to collect the dinosaur.
So how are we able to get our horses in the cart over the?
Yeah, you as you get across the path, you get to like right at the edge of it, and another onkeg. No, I'm kidding. No, you get through it. You get through it.
Would the yonkeg be more like cockroach or like crab meat?
That's a good question. Well, it's capacity, isn't it? It's sort of like.
Are we gonna eat
It's an insect. It's
Okay.
more insect
So it's
than
not-
crustacean.
No. Never mind.
Darn.
The rations were in the cart. We're good.
Alright, so you continue making your way. You do see you can still hear bits of like thunderstorm in the distance, but you're not seeing any impending rain right away. But you carry on. Very few rolling hills at this point. It's almost completely farmland here. The road has started to kind of curve more towards Jakir as opposed to like being south. But
So around the mountain.
well, we're way south of the mountain at this
Okay.
point. We're way south of the mountain.
And we still see farms like next to the road. Like we're still seeing the.
You see the
fences,
occasional.
or-
You see the occasional bit of fence. You maybe see farmland, or you definitely see farmland. Some of it is just pasture. You see the occasional animal farm. You do see the occasional like harvested field. Not near the road at all. You do see the occasional, like farmhouse or homestead. But they're not particularly nearby. But you're definitely still in the Fendelin plains.
How do these people survive?
Well, their houses aren't necessarily near the road. They're near enough, but you're seeing mostly outcropping.
Does the rain come back?
Not as of yet, no. But I would say you're able to pretty safely keep traveling until night starts to fall. You're gonna push on through the night, or are you bedding down like you did before?
Debatable.
I could use some sleep. I think we all could.
I think at some point Frank might start getting antsy for the stockpile of sulfur that he imagines is awaiting him in Jakir, but people got hurt.
That's the way to put it.
So maybe not. Set up night's camp again. Where's the safest looking place? Is there anything nearby that looks safer than the rest? Any solid rock that I don't think things are going to be burrowing underneath?
Unfortunately, no, not with your perception. In fact, you maybe see an outcropping of trees very far off the road.
Trees are close. I imagine burrowing creatures get annoyed by roots.
But you're not seeing one as close to the road as you did last time. You're probably looking at, you think you might see something that looks tree-like.
So these are like mostly fields.
Yeah,
and
you're in
hills?
farmland.
Okay,
You're in
right.
farmland. So there, you do see something that looks like an oak tree to your east, away from Jakir. It's probably an hour's ride.
An hour's ride?
Yeah.
It's a long ways on the way just to find a spot. Shoot.
Yeah, I think just camping on the side of the road.
It's probably the best bet.
Yeah,
I think it's our only option.
It's not raining.
That's not your only option. I mean, you can push out that way onto. You would have to cross a fence.
Oh, are there any barns? We're in farmland. Do we see any houses? Farms?
The homesteads for these farms aren't on this side. You would imagine that this acreage is probably, because right now you're on. I wish I had a printout of the map. From Belgard up here, you have two roads. One going straight south to Crossroads. The one you're on, kind of curving this way westward.
Yeah.
It's probably safe bet that the homesteads for these are closer to that main road than they are to this side road.
Gotcha.
You're at the back of people's fields, so you think you maybe see some homesteads, but they're further out.
Gotcha.
By the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is and as Salvador would have expressed early on, and as part of the information, this is the less traveled road. This is a side road, for lack of anything else.
Right. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Alright.
so I'll start making camp.
Okay, so I would say make a camp in a similar fashion as you did before, and maybe instead of using the tree, you can use the cart to kind of prop up your lean-to in your tents.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Tie the horses down. You're able to start a bit of a fire. Same watch order. If I can just get someone to make a first roll.
Oh, that's me and Salvador. I'll make the roll this time. Salvador make the roll. 19.
You hear just the light rolling of thunder in the distance. It's not particularly close. It's not particularly far, but your watch goes by without issue. Next watch.
Salvador is out.
Salvador, you hear that? Oh.
Who's on next watch?
I am.
Okay.
Give me just a second. Okay, 20.
20. Your watch goes pretty smoothly as well. You're not seeing any of the wildlife that you saw the last time. Right as your watch is starting to end, rain starts to fall.
Okay.
And some of that thunder that I described Sandra was hearing earlier, you're hearing some of that as well, but it's a little closer now. It's not quite directly overhead, but it's more near.
Okay.
Who's on last watch?
Me, and for the last 2 hours, I'll wake up for rain.
Yeah.
Okay.
17 plus 4, so 21. And 9 plus 4, so 13.
Gotcha. So at about an hour into your first watch, the rain really opens up. Like the sky is just ripped open. Heavy rain, heavy thunder as that happens. But and it continues on, but the grading of the road and everything kind of just is dissipating off to the sides. It's getting muddy, and you're definitely getting wet if you're not like in shelter of a tent. But it took the time to set a camp, so I'm not gonna make it so that it doesn't like impact your sleep, and you're able to kind of also get through the night. At about the time you wake up for rain, the rain starts to stop. This was like a summer. Summer's a bad explanation because it's not summertime, but it's as a summer storm would. The rain came hard and fast, and then it dissipated.
Gotcha.
So by the end of your shift, and about the time everybody's starting to wake up and become ready for the day, the rain stops.
Gotcha. Yeah, so Vestea would have gotten a little damp, and she'll do her best once the sun comes out and everybody's just kind of waking up. She'll kind of like her cloak and stuff, she'll like drape over she'll kind of shed some layers to try to dry off a little bit better.
Okay, gotcha. So you're just doing some stuff to kind of dry off and prep for the day.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume everybody else is going to start waking up at about the time the shift ends. We're going to prepare for your continued journey to Jakir. I think now is a good time for a break. Get some food, and then come back to the table. We'll try and keep it to a 30-minute break just because it was such a delay, but I don't think that's realistic for what we're doing for food. So we'll be back as quickly as possible. But thanks everybody for being here so far, and you can see it's 3:30 right now, so I'd say sometime between 4 o'clock and 4:15 we'll try and be back. May not make them. I'll pop in if that doesn't look realistic and say something. Thanks everybody. Thank you so very much for joining us for part 1 of this episode. Now, when we sit down and play this in person, we run for 6 hours straight live on Twitch for your viewing pleasure. However, when we edit it for YouTube and podcast, we actually split it in half. We do this because it's easier for our viewers to digest and take in an episode that's a little bit shorter. But it's also a lot easier on us as a very small crew with limited resources to get it edited and uploaded in a timely manner. Don't worry, part 1 is always out on Tuesday. Part 2 is always going to be out on Thursday. Again, thank you so very much for watching, and we'll see you in a couple of days.